everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So before we dive into today's episode, which is just a fun pop culture chat, we'll be talking about Beyonce, Jay-Z, the Grammys, Monique, her son, Kyle Richards. What is the real deal with why she split from hubby Mauricio? I have a new theory that I want to share with you guys. So before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's go. And as we go through, be sure to put down your comments, your questions, your conspiracy theories, your thoughts. Put them down in the comment box. Let's have a fun and lively chat. Let me know where you're listening from, and let me know what your thoughts are on Beyonce, Jay-Z, Monique, Kyle, and everything. We are going to get into it. So with that, let's start with our first story. So, as we all know, comedian Monique has made headlines. First, it was for her infamous beef with Oprah and with Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels over everything that happened with Precious. The very top line cliff notes of that is this. Monique played the lead role in the movie Precious. It was an independent film with Lionsgate. She had her deal with Lee Daniels, who was the director of it. I'm not sure if he wrote the script or not, but I know that he directed the script. We all know Lee Daniels. He did, all the Fox shows like Star and Empire and all of that. Everybody knows Oprah. Everybody knows Tyler Perry. These are the producers on the movie. Monique did her domestic marketing for the show, and she obviously, acted in the show. Everything was cool. Now, when it came to award season, they were like, okay, now we want you to market the film in Cannes, in France. We want you to really do the award marketing of the show. And Monique and her, quote, daddy husband / manager was like, well, if you want me to do extra marketing that I was not contracted to do for the movie, then you need to pay me. If not, I'm just going to go and do whatever I want to do. I want to hang out with my family. I want to go do other projects. And they were like, and by they, I mean like the people at Lionsgate, the powers that be, Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lee Daniels were like, no, you need to just do your job, come and market the freaking film, let it win a ton of awards, and then once it wins all the awards, you can basically do whatever you want in Hollywood because you'll have your Oscar, you'll be the new darling and all of this stuff, right? And Monique and her, quote, daddy, which is what she calls her husband / manager, were like, no. And this sparked a huge beef between all of them. She's like, I'm being blackballed in Hollywood. Oprah hates Black women. Tyler Perry hates Black women. They all tried to take me down. They stopped my bag, blah, 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 blah. Now, quickly, what my opinion on that situation is this. And she did a whole new interview with Shay on the Shay podcast. You guys can go watch that. It's like 2.5 hours, which only reason why I think she got that interview was because of the big interview that Shay did with Cat Williams. Go watch that. It's brilliant. Again, it's about 2 hours, 3.5 hours, but it's amazing. It's gone viral. Everybody's talking about it. I'm sure you've heard about it. If not, go watch it. It's great. He's exposing people. It's juicy. It's good. Okay. It's good. So obviously she kind of jumped on that halo and was like, well, let me go talk about something that happened 10 years ago again. Now, where I land on that, because I think it's important to have that sort of background before we dive into what's happening with Monique and her son. And by the way, this was a Candy Cane request. I believe it was Chocolate Chunks who requested this. If it wasn't, then I apologize. But this was a Candy Cane request. They wanted me to cover what was going on with Monique. No, I think Chocolate Chunks wanted me to do Jay-Z and Beyonce. And we will be doing that. We'll be doing that too. But you know who it was? Tion. Shout out to Tion. Shout out to our Candy Cane Tion. He wanted me to cover Monique and her son and all of this drama. So if you guys have any requests on what stories you want me to cover, from pop culture to reality TV to true crime, email me, DM me, let me know, because I'm doing Candy Cane request. So shout out to Tion who requested this story. So I think that's important to understand that backstory for this. This is where I land on it, and put it in the chat box what your thoughts were with Monique versus Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels and Oprah and blackballing and all of that stuff. What were your thoughts on that? Do you think she was being difficult and ridiculous and she just should have, did her job and kept marketing the film? Or do you think, no, she was only paid for X amount of marketing? If they wanted her to work more, then they should have paid her more. Okay? Put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll tell you what I think. And this is just my opinion, and I want to know what your opinion is. I think that both sides were right and both sides were wrong. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Where I think Monique was right is I get it. You don't want to leave your family, leave your other commitments, and travel and market a movie when they're not actually paying you to do that. I totally get that. I understand saying, no, I signed a contract to act in the film, to do X amount of promo. I fulfilled my contractual obligation. What you paid me for is what I did. Now you're asking me to do more work for free, and I don't want to do that. I totally understand that. I get that. That thinking, I think she's right. Where I think she's wrong is you have to have a level of business acumen. You also have to have a level of discernment. You have to have also a level of understanding nuance when it comes to relationships, particularly in business. And then you also have to understand equity that is not just money. And what I mean by that, by equity, by value, right? By profit. It's not, you can have equity, you can get equity out of something that's not just give me a paycheck. She would have gotten so much equity if she would have said, you know what? I get the game. You paid me to act. You paid me to do the domestic stuff, but this is award season. We're going to the Cannes Film Festival. We're going for the Oscars. We're going for the gold here. We're going for the big stuff. Let me foster relationships with the press, with the media, with the executives at Lionsgate, with Lee Daniels, with Oprah, with Tyler Perry. Not that you have to kiss anybody's butt, not that you have to, quote, be a slave, because I don't think that's what they were asking, but you have to understand the levels to this. In any industry you work in, any industry, beyond money, your relationships is the most valuable thing that you can have, because then you can leverage that to get more, to get the bigger paycheck next time, to get the projects you want to work on, to get the referrals. In life, there are bigger things that will bring you more value and equity than just money. Very scarcity mindset and very closed minds think that the only value something has is its monetary value. And that's really not true. That's a very basic way of thinking. She could have played this so differently, and came out on top. So do I think she's right to feel I don't want to work and not get paid for the work? Sure, you can feel that way. But where I think she's wrong is she's missing the bigger picture of how the game is actually played. Because what she could have gotten by promoting her own film that she was in, that she won an Oscar for, would have been way more valuable than any piece of paycheck her and daddy were looking to get. Now, on the flip side, where I think maybe like the Oprah, the Tyler Perry, the Lee Daniels camp, the executives camp, where I think they were right and where I think they were wrong. This is where I land on that. Where I think they were right is, just like I said with where Monique was wrong, listen, this business isn't just about a paycheck. This business is about relationships. It's about reputation. It's about brand equity. It's about leveraging, accolades and all of that stuff. This is how it actually gets done. This is how it works. Work with us, we'll work with you. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. That's just how it is. So they're looking at it like, wait a minute, this is a huge opportunity. We're not asking you to, quote, work for free, because what you will get by all of us working together will be huge. So I get where they're saying that's That's where I think they're right at that, because there are levels to this. There is business acumen, there is emotional intelligence, there is nuance, there is relationship building, there is public persona, there is all of that stuff. So I think they're right in that camp. Where I think they went wrong was, and again, I'm going to say alleged because I don't know how much of anybody's story I believe. I don't know how much of Monique's story I believe. I don't know how much of Oprah's or Tyler's or Lee Daniels' story I believe. I personally like all of these people from a professional standpoint. I don't know them personally. So I don't really know who I believe, but where I think hypothetically they went wrong is if Monique did not want to play ball, okay, she didn't want to play ball. But don't then try to malign her or blackball her or say she's difficult and she's all of that stuff if the only thing she is saying is what I see the value in is a paycheck. And if you're not going to pay me, then I'm not going to work. That's not being difficult. That's just how she's perceiving the situation. So I think that, and again, hypothetically, because I don't really know who I believe in this situation. So I'm just speaking in hypotheticals here. So hypothetically, if she did not want to play ball, okay. But don't stop her bag next time. Don't malign her. Don't, blackball her or blacklist her if that is truly what happened. Just say, okay, she didn't want to play ball. We're just not going to hire her for our next project. But there's no need to then block her from other projects that she wants to go do, because that's not really being difficult. That's just somebody creating a boundary that you might not like. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I kind of land on that situation. Now, when it comes to Monique and her son, because as we know, Monique went on Club Shay Shay. She rehashed all the stuff, all the Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, blah, 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 all of that stuff, her daddy and all that weird stuff, whatever. To each their own. Not going to judge it, not for me, but whatever. Shay Shay asks her the question about her eldest son, Shalon. I didn't know she had an older son. I just thought she had the two children with her husband, but she has an older son, Shalon. And she says something to the effect of, and I have about a 4-minute recap of it that we're going to watch. And she basically says, like, I asked the universe to bring us back together, but he doesn't want it. I'm here when he is, blah, 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 blah. So then he goes to TikTok and he does about a 10-minute monologue, soliloquy, spoken word poetry about his trauma with her being his mother, that she was absentee, that she basically abandoned him. They don't have a good relationship. She wasn't there for him. All he wants is like time, but he doesn't think he's going to get it. She's kind of drank her husband Kool-Aid, does whatever he says, all of that stuff. Then her and her husband go to Instagram and they do some weird response being like, we gave you $10,000 for the down payment of your car. Didn't you talk, but you failed to talk about that. It was just so weird and bizarre. I have like a 4-minute recap that we're going to watch. If you want me to play it's about 10 minutes, so it's a long. If you want me to play what he actually said, put it in the comments box and I'll play it. But I think let's watch about a 4-minute recap that someone did that I thought will sum it up. And then we'll dive into what I think is going on with her son, Shaylon, what I think is going on with her, who I think is right, who I think is wrong. And I want to know what you guys think too. So let's watch.
I was very young when I had my first son.
When I hear you, Shalon, talk about money.
To address money.
We gave you the half the down payment.
You did. You gave me $10,000 for a down payment on a car. Yes. Thank you again.
And I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there.
Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or or whatever those feelings are supposed to be.
You have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother.
Thank you. My girlfriend and I were already prepared to put our money together and get a car. You and your husband called us one day and stated that y'all were going to give us $5,000 for a down payment. We said, okay. You then called us back a day or two later and stated that you would be giving us $10,000 for a down payment on the car. You and him made the conscious choice to give us that money. We did not ask you for anything, but this is an example of a rich person doing something for you, and an example of a rich person doing something for you because they want to do it for you, but because it doesn't have the desired effect that they want it to have, you are inconsiderate and ungrateful.
And stuff, it's like, baby, as I told you when you were younger, I told you as a man, don't let nobody introduce you to me. You know who your mama is.
My mother loved things more than she loved me.
You know who your mama is.
And she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect.
You know who your mama is.
You are not interested in being a mother.
Because when you're trying to go get it, you're missing this right here.
Oh, you miss a lot.
The nurturing.
Yes.
You miss all of that.
Yes.
You know who your mama is.
My mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things.
You know who your mama is.
My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things.
You know who your mama is.
But she doesn't take accountability very well.
You know who your mama is.
And anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience.
You know who your mama is.
To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son.
You know who your mama is.
That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life.
I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right.
You know who your mama is.
I've done my part. And don't apologize like no punk. Let's go bit by bit so that way we know you understand the offense that you've done.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying because I've had to do that.
In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology. But an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight.
You know who your mama is.
I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though. To ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it.
You know who your mama is.
Okay. So that was basically what the conversation was between Monique and her son, Shalone. His position is, you abandoned me as a child. You weren't there emotionally. You were doing you. So, and you talked about it publicly. Now don't get up on Club Shay Shay talking about, you wish we had a relationship. You apologize to me, blah, 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 blah. He's basically saying, in my opinion, because he doesn't say it, but I think he's basically saying, you're a narcissistic mother. All you care about is image. I give you money. I give you this, baby this, daddy that. But when it comes down to it, you were not there for me emotionally and physically as I needed you to be as your son. And then in that 9-minute rant that he does, it's not a rant. I don't want to call it a rant because I don't want to be dismissive, because I do believe him. I think that he is in a lot of pain. I think he is telling the truth. And I think that a lot of times, because I also saw someone say, when I was researching this, someone did this post and they're like, oh, well, well, my mother had me when she was 13 and she gave me up to foster care, and I was raised by grandparents and other people, and I would never go online talking against my mom and giving, people ammunition against her. I would never speak against my mother. Okay, well, sir, that's you. I think that there is sometimes a unhealthy, toxic glorification of mother, where when the mother is narcissistic or emotionally unavailable or abandons their child or is abusive or is toxic or is unhealthy in any way, it's like you can't ever speak against mom. You can't ever go against your mother, right? There's almost this sort of like toxic hero worship of mother. And it goes deeper to like, women and the patriarchy in general. It's like the mother can't win. The mother either has to be this, amazing angel, self-sacrificing, never has any of her own ambitions in order to be, quote, a good mom. Or if she does have her own ambitions and she does do what she wants to do, then she's evil and she's toxic and she's unhealthy. So it's almost like you can't win as a mom. And then baked into that is the toxic glorification of mother. Now, where I land on that when it comes to this situation, I believe this young man. Monique herself, when she has talked in interviews, I didn't even know she had a son his age. She only ever really talks about her children with, quote, daddy. And I think what the son is saying, hey, look, you had me, yes, when you were young, but you wanted to go be Monique, the comedian, the actress, the star. And in Monique's own words, she said that she was dipping it and doing it and busting it open with whomever and wherever. I had no idea she even had this son. And I think it's very maybe normal or common, I don't know what the word is, for older children of people who then go on to sort of get their life together, get married, and then they have a whole new family like Monique does. She got married to her husband, and then they went on to have their own set of twin boys. And so he's kind of like, well, where do I fit in? Where were you when I was a kid and I needed a mother? Where were you when I was growing up? You were out there doing you, and I was being raised by my grandparents. I was being raised by my aunties and my uncles, so don't act like you were there for me growing up because you were doing what you wanted to do. Right? So this is the thing. I understand where he's coming from, and I believe him. And I think there's a difference between a parent or a mother who goes after their dreams and they want to do what they want to do with their life, who is still able to be present for their child, versus a parent who is inherently narcissistic and emotionally unavailable. Now, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but in my personal opinion, I think Monique falls into the latter. I think that she, in my opinion, seems to display very narcissistic and emotionally unavailable qualities, not only as a mother, but also as a person. That's just the vibe and energy I get from her. I'm not diagnosing her. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying this is who she is or this is the truth. I'm just saying this is my opinion based on my observations. And I'll tell you why. Number one, the first thing they did to him was they dismissed him. Their tone was condescending. Their attitude was dismissive. They had smirks on their faces. There was no genuine concern. There was no actual, I want this to work out. And they responded publicly. It was very, very dismissive. It was very cold and it was very detached. The second thing they did was they went straight to, well, we gave you $10,000. The only reason why you have a car is for us. So now they are emasculating him, and they're also equating money and things with, they're equating the tangible, money and things, with the intangible, which is what he was wanting. He was wanting time. He was wanting attention. He was wanting connection. So they are equating the tangible, which is a very narcissistic, dismissive, emotionally unavailable thing to do. Well, I gave you this, this, and this. Think about a lot of marriages. You know, I'll be very stereotypical. Think about your stereotypical marriage where the man is like, well, I bought you this house. I buy you bags. I buy you cars. You have all the money. And the wife is like, I don't care about all of that. I just want your time. I want to feel love. I want you to prioritize me. I want you to come home. I want you to be with me. That is what I am picking up here, where she equates, I give you tangible things. And he's like, but I want the intangible things as your child, as your son. It's giving abandonment wounds. It's giving narcissistic mother vibes. And for me, I wanted to give Monique the benefit of the doubt, but the look on her face, she was enjoying it. It was all about the attention for her. She was enjoying it. And it just gave me the creeps. And then when her whole tone and her eyes and her whole demeanor changes, when her mask falls and she goes, you know who your mother is? That was so creepy and weird to me. I feel like her son has gone through it. I feel like he's been through some stuff. I feel like he's seen some stuff. And he also told us something without saying it outright. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want to go too far deep in this rabbit hole. But when he said you went to God and God said no, and then you went to the universe, he just said a lot with that statement. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to get too far deep because that can go in a very deep rabbit hole when it comes to that. But just think about what he said. He said, you went to God for what you wanted, but God gives you what you need. And when God said no, you went to the universe. I'm just going to leave that there. Think on what he is actually saying. Think about what Cat Williams said at Shay Shay. He said it's not white or black side. He said it's God's side and the other side. So just think about that and think about everything going on in Hollywood right now. Everybody being, quote, exposed. I'm not going to go too dark. I'm not going to go down too far. I don't want to trigger anybody. I don't want to conjure anything, but just think about it. Think about what he said. So for me, I'm on team Shaylin because number one, as the mother, as the quote adult, you should not be speaking publicly against your children. And that's what I felt when I was, that's why, again, I was telling you guys about how someone was like, you know, my mother abandoned me and I would never go online and talk about her. Well, sir, you just did. But secondly, children, and I don't care how old you are, I'm talking about the relationship dynamic. I'm talking about the dynamics of the relationship. I'm not talking about age, because you could be 55 years old, and when your mother is abusive towards you, that 6-year-old in you is the one who was hurting. So I'm talking about the relationship dynamics. Whenever the parent disrespects and is dismissive to the child, that is when it is out of order. And when that child responds or reacts, that is just them trying to get their parents' love and attention. So even though I think he's maybe in his 30s, I'm guessing, maybe late 20s, what is reacting in him is the little boy that just wanted his mother. And when it comes to the dynamics of the relationship, it was her job to foster that relationship. And when she speaks publicly against her child, then I don't see anything wrong with the child publicly responding to being talked about in public. Now, if Monique had just said, oh, that's my son, he's doing great, next question, and then he came out with this, okay, maybe I'm like, you know what? You don't got to go in on your mom like that. But when she sits there for 10 to 15 minutes with a weird look on her face, lying and dogging her child out, then the child has every right to respond publicly any way that child sees fit. Because at the end of the day, Monique may be his mother, but she's just a person too. You know what I'm saying? I also think that Monique is very manipulative. I think she's very good at conflating a lot of issues. Very good at conflating a lot of issues. She uses a lot of truths, things that are true, to become the forever victim. Just like her son said. Like the stuff with Oprah and Tyler and Lee Daniels, I see both sides, for right and for wrong. And but I have to say, Monique is talking about, oh, Oprah doesn't put anybody on and blah, 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 blah. But Monique, who have you put on? Who has Monique helped or supported? She talks about all of her resume all day long, but who has Monique supported? What young Black person or person in general, doesn't even have to be about race or gender, who has she helped? Who has she brought up? Because it's always about her, 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 her. And Oprah, there's a lot going on with Oprah. I am not defending anybody in this situation at all. But Oprah has helped and put on people. I know there's a lot of stuff going on about her. There's a lot of people coming out. There's a lot of stuff with Taraji. I know that. Trust me, I'm not dismissing it. I'm not diminishing it. But I'm saying if Monique is going to throw stones, it can't be from a glass house. And she does use a lot of things like, well, Black women, we get our flowers after we're dead and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. But like, Monique, at the end of the day, in my opinion, you did abandon your child from what he said. I believe him. I'm not villainizing you for it. I think you were young. You had your own childhood trauma. And I think that you probably did the best you could. It seems like you might have some personality or narcissism in there. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing you. I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm just saying from the observations. And I think you did the best you could with the emotional and mental capacity that you had. Where I do think you need to take accountability is just to be honest about it. Because it's very clear you did not raise him the way you said your daddy husband raised you. That you had the mentality of a 15-year-old girl when you were in your 30s or 40s. And your husband raised you, and that's why you call him daddy. Well, through your own admission, I don't think the mentality of a 15-year-old girl would have the presence of mind to be emotionally and mentally and spiritually available to raise a child. All your son is saying is, I see you, keep my name out your mouth. That's basically all he said. He was like, don't get up on these interviews that millions of people are now going to watch because you're on the Cat Williams bandwagon. Shout out to Cat Williams. I absolutely love him. Bandwagon, misspeaking about our relationship when we don't mess with each other, when you weren't there for me. Don't use me as a way to make yourself the victim. That's basically what he was saying. And so I'm on team Shalom here. If your own mother is going to get out here basically saying you have a mental illness, that's basically what, quote, daddy, her husband, and her was saying, maligning his mental health. And when you look at him, it's obvious he has very, in my opinion, sad eyes. I do think he probably has gone through something, or there's just his energy about him. You can just tell. But I also feel like he's doing the work. It seems like he's gone to therapy. It seems like he's able to create boundaries. He's able to talk about his feelings and call a thing a thing, And like he said, everybody, I don't care who you are in this world, has had issues with your mental health at some point in life. It's literally called life. Doesn't mean you're mentally ill. Doesn't mean you're crazy. Doesn't mean any of those derogatory things. It means you're a human being in this world. And then for her to try to turn that against her own child to dismiss him is disgusting. And I wanted to be on Monique's side. Even after the Shay Shay interview, I was like, okay, I'm kind of seeing her a little bit more where she's coming from. I kind of see it. But the way, and then she posted these text message exchange. I was like, I'm not even going to put it on my screen. Then she posted a text message exchange between her and him being like, see, I was there for him. But the entire text was just like, hey, baby, give me a couple hours to call you back. Hey, baby, I missed your call. Hey, baby, how are you? Hi, my baby, my baby. It was just like normal, and that's the thing. You could have a strained, unhealthy dynamic with someone, even your parent, and still have a text exchange of being like, hey, how are you? Like, it's not all black or white. It's not all extremes. You know? So my heart goes out to Shaylin, I think his name, Shaylin. My heart goes out to him. He has very sad eyes to me. I believe him. He has nothing to gain, with this. And basically all he said was, keep my name out your mouth, Mom. You don't got to go and talk about me on all of that stuff. So I want to know what you guys think when it comes to Monique versus her son. Do you think he was out of pocket? Don't ever speak against your mother. Do you think she's out of pocket and just admit, you know what? I had you when I was young. I wasn't equipped to be a mother. I did the best I could. I was out here trying to grind and get my career off the ground. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for that. Because I think that all he wants is the acknowledgement and the validation from her of his experience. That's really all he wants. But I think the narcissist in her has to deny the reality of his experience in order to make her the victim and the martyr. That is the essence of gaslighting. I'm going to deny the reality of your experience in order for me to look the way that I want to look. That's the essence of narcissism. That's the essence of gaslighting. And all he is saying is, I love you, Mom. I am proud of you, Mom. Like, just go on TikTok and watch it. It's about 9 minutes. He's like, I love my mother. I'm proud of her. But I'm just saying, as her son, I felt abandoned because she did have me young. She was focused on her career. Then she got married to this man, and he is now running the show. She has 2 new young kids, and I felt left out. And I think that's a very normal and natural reaction and experience of someone who has those circumstances. And all he is saying is, validate me. But because she can't humble herself, because she can't be wrong, because she always has to be the victim, she is dismissing and invalidating him. So it's just ridiculous. Thank you, Shaylin. Yes. So, my heart goes out to him. And the fact that she treats her son this way, unfortunately, gives more validity to the Oprah, Lee Daniels, Lionsgate, Tyler Perry side. I'm not saying how they moved was 100% right, but I don't think they were 100% wrong either. I think both sides could have done things differently, and it could have been a much better outcome for everybody involved. So my heart goes out to him. So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. What do you think about her son coming out? What do you think about her calling her husband daddy? The Shay Shay interview? Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to, do we want to do Kyle and Mauricio next? Or do we want to do Beyonce and Jay-Z next? Put it down in the comment box. The first comment I get, that is the next story we're going to do. Let me know. Do you want Kyle and Mauricio, or do you want Beyonce and Jay-Z? Which story do you want next? Put it in the comment box. Miss T says Mo has 4 kids, but we only hear about daddy's kids. Exactly. All right. The first one I saw was Natasha. She said Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay. So we will go to Beyonce and Jay-Z next, and then we'll go to Kyle and Mauricio. All right. So this might be the split heard around the world. It is being said that Jay-Z and Beyonce are headed for divorce amid a potential P. Diddy takedown. So I'm not going to get too deep into the allegations against P. Diddy. We all know what they are. You can Google them. I don't want that energy or conjuring anything on my channel, so you guys can go and check that out. But people are wondering what the hell was going on with Jay-Z and his Grammy speech. As we know, Beyonce has, I think, won the most Grammys in Grammy history, but she's never won for Album of the Year. Her husband, estranged husband, ex-husband, who the hell knows at this point, Jay-Z then went on to do a rant during his acceptance speech for the Dr. Dre Honorary of the Year Award, whatever it's called, in the Grammys, basically being like, the math ain't mathin', y'all need to do better, why hasn't she won yet, all this crazy stuff. Okay? Now, let's watch his acceptance speech. And then I found this mini 3-part series breaking down what might be going on between Jay-Z and Beyonce. And then I'll tell you what I think is going on. So let's watch his speech.
I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't got to clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, you know, it's music and it's opinion-based. But, you know, some things, you know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work. Just in life, you got to keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Forget the Grammys. You got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you feel you deserve. Until they call you chairman. Until they call you a genius. Until they call you the greatest of all time. You feel me?
Poor Blue Ivy. She looked so scared and she looked so shook. It was crazy. Poor Blue Ivy. Now, does this remind you of something? If not, let me refresh your memory.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
So I guess I have to say to all the other winners tonight, I'm really happy for you. And I'm gonna let you finish. But Kanye West has had one of the greatest careers of all time. And right now, I am honored to present the 2015 Vanguard Award to my friend, Kanye West.
I mean, it's giving mental breakdown. It's giving, I'm about to be exposed. Please stay with me. Let's keep this brand intact. I don't want $1 billion divorce. It's giving yikes. Now, this is the thing. And then I'm going to show you guys this 3-part deep dive I found on their alleged divorce and why they are divorcing and everything. But I first want to go into this. So, oh, and shout out to Chocolate Chunks. I believe that's my candy cane. requested this story. So if you guys have requests for stories or any topics, be sure to DM me and email me, and I will cover them on the channel. So this is the thing. Jay-Z, when he was at the Grammy stage, he seemed very nervous. He seemed very awkward. He seemed like it wasn't well rehearsed. To me, it sounded more like he was groveling to her, not actually to the Grammys. I don't know what they're called, the Grammy people. And he was like, I don't want to embarrass this young lady right here. Sir, you mean your wife, Beyonce? Like, that was also a weird term or a weird, way to say Beyonce. Like, I don't want to embarrass this young lady right here. That's how I would speak to someone that I didn't know. Like, oh, excuse me, I don't want to embarrass this young lady. Like, I don't know her name. I'm being respectful, and I don't really know this person. That's not a term of endearment for the mother of your 3 children who you've been with for over a decade. Boy, sir, sit by. It was so weird. It was so bizarre. And it's giving Kanye vibes where they look, it's a different, and this is the thing. What I mean by nervous Kanye vibes, Jay-Z to me didn't look and sound like his normal self. He is usually very steady. It's usually like a ha ha ha, like, he has like a little, he has a very tempered cadence. His energy is very usually low vibe. It's very like, da-dun, da-dun, it's very chill. What I saw on stage was a man unraveling. And when it happened to Kanye, that was kind of the beginning of the end for Kanye too. And we all know what's going on with Kanye now. It's just a hot, scary mess, okay? So to me, Jay-Z looked like a man who was about to lose it all. I don't think his speech had anything to do about Grammys. I think his speech is a man on the verge of collapse. Now, there has been rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z have separated, that they've been separated for a while, that their marriage is nothing but a PR stunt. It's a PR brand. Like she said, this is what happens when there's $1 billion on an elevator. When the whole thing with Solange was beat Jay-Z up in the elevator for allegedly cheating on Beyonce. And her response was like, things go down when there's $1 billion in an elevator. And basically their whole marriage and the kids and B&J is basically this power couple $1 billion brand that they were not willing to give up simply because he was cheating and being unfaithful, and according to Solange, allegedly very controlling of her. Now, where I land on that, and then I'm going to show you this like little 3-part series I found. I, in my gut, think that Jay-Z and Beyonce did love each other. I do think he was probably controlling, but I also think that she was also very strong-willed, particularly when it came to her career. I think that he was cheating. I think she may have dipped out, but only after he did. The whole Lemonade thing was also great marketing. Whether it was true or not, that was great marketing. Lemonade the whole album was really when Beyonce went from leaving Destiny's Child to Queen Bee, because everybody was trauma bonding with her. Not me, but I personally think a big reason why Lemonade was such a success was because a lot of people trauma bonded with being the woman who is long suffering, cheated on, scorned, but I'm gonna stick beside him. And I think very similar to what happened with Scandival. I think a lot of people trauma bonded with Lemonade, but they didn't have the awareness to understand what was going on. And that was great, brilliant marketing. That was basically when Queen Bey was born. Now, was she doing it through some spiritual stuff with her shrine to Oshun? And this isn't me. This is what she has said in her own lyrics. She says she harnesses Oshun energy. Oshun is a I'm not going to say God or goddess because I don't believe they are. I'll say deity or entity or something like that, that people worship and sacrifice to and have shrines to. It's a whole thing. Look it up, Google it. This isn't me saying this about her. This is out there. So I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to conjure anything or call in anything. No, thank you. The door is closed. Look it up yourself. But right after that was when Queen Bey was born. Look it up. So do I think that the image of Beyonce would be what it is today if she had left him? No. I think the fact that they stayed together is what made them this power couple, billion-dollar brand, trauma bonding with the world. Well, if Bey and Jay-Z can stick through it, we can stick through it too. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it would not have had the same effect if she actually had self-respect, self-esteem, self-worth, and left him. Because as quiet as is kept, the media and the agenda pretends to like a strong, self-respecting women, but they actually don't. They actually don't. And I think that if she actually was a self-respecting woman and actually knew her worth and left him, I'm not talking about a tangible money level. I'm talking about the intangible worthiness and value of a human being. I don't think she would be as revered as she is today. Why I think the stuff about them separating and splitting and divorcing might be true now is very similar to like an Erica Jane Girardi. When the walls are about to close in, what does the wife do? All of a sudden, let's get divorced. I don't know him. I don't know what he does. I don't know what his business is. I don't know him. Because word on the street is that Jay-Z is going to be the next one to be exposed. We've had Puff Daddy, TD Jakes, all these people. You just look it up. Word on the street, Puff is pissed. And he's like, I didn't do this dirt by myself. If R. Kelly, I'm not going down by myself. Now, let's watch this 3-part series I found and let me know what you guys think, okay? Put it down below.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. You know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're going to see Beyonce divorce him.
Honey, the day of reckoning is finally here with us, y'all. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're both locked in a private battle behind the scenes that may lead to divorce. Both of their teams are allegedly leaking information about what's going on, with Beyonce's team saying that she's the one pulling the plug, and Jay-Z's team saying he is the one who is fed up with the relationship. Regardless of who is pulling the plug, the bottom line is a divorce is on the way, allegedly. So according to what most people have observed, you can clearly see in their eyes that Jay-Z and Beyonce are not in love, especially when it comes to Beyonce. It's like she's not into him anymore and there's really no spark in her eyes. In fact, many people are of the opinion that when Beyonce is with Jay-Z, and you know what has fueled the rumors of a separation even further? The speech that Jay-Z gave at the Grammys.
I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work.
Apparently, the look on Beyonce's face said it all, and there were even reports after the speech that Beyonce was embarrassed and just wanted to leave. Actually, videos from the award ceremony showed that the Carters left right after the speech because Beyonce was allegedly uncomfortable. Child, I hate to break it down to y'all, but according to recent reports, this marriage has allegedly been broken for a long time. In fact, there have been reports claiming that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been living separately for a while now. now. And the rift probably happened sometime before 2014. Of course, y'all recall that after the Met Gala in 2014, footage surfaced of Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles seemingly attacking Jay in an elevator at an after party. And the rumor was that she attacked her brother-in-law because he cheated on Beyonce. At the time, the family released the following statement. There has been a great deal of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate incident, but the most important thing is that our family has worked through it. Jay and Solange each assume their share of responsibility for what has occurred. They both acknowledge their role in the private matter that has played out in the public. That is what they fed the public. But behind the scenes, things were apparently not good at all. Like Beyonce's cousins even said at the time that she was
So that was part one. And then we're going to watch part two in a second. But I kind of believe this because it just makes sense. And don't forget, there was also the, what do you call it? The rumors that Beyonce was hooking up with her security guard, I think it was. There was rumors she was hooking up with the security guard. And then also, and again, I don't want to dive too deep on this on my channel, but there was also the fact that there was a restraining order against Beyonce from one of her drummers. And the drummer basically was saying that Beyonce was harassing her and that she was doing witchcraft and all of this crazy stuff. I don't want to dive too deep on those things. And again, I'm not calling it anything. There's no, like, we're surrounded by love and light over here. But I just want to put that out there for part two and part three. So here we go.
Mother Wanda hooked up with Jay-Z in 1992 at his aunt's apartment in Brooklyn, New York, after Jay first picked her up in Philadelphia. And the story is that they used protection, but it failed. And other than a visit from him 2 weeks later, they never saw each other again. And she had no idea how to contact Jay-Z when she found out she was pregnant. In 2011, Wanda even filed a civil lawsuit in New Jersey seeking child support from Jay. But the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed because it was filed in the wrong state and was never refiled. At the time, Jay-Z's lawyer also stated that Jay was not an interested party with respect to the custody of Ramir. And since then, it's been a long battle for Ramir trying to get Jay-Z to do a paternity test. But Jay has never agreed to one. Now, according to Ramir, Jay-Z has been using his wealth and power to avoid taking a paternity test. And he revealed how he was denied a fair hearing in court because of legal mistakes and malpractice. He's even gone for his own lawyers, accusing them of colluding with Jay-Z's legal team to help him get out of taking the test.
These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the and we did nothing wrong.
Okay, riddle me this. What reason would Jay have to hide a child he had so long ago? He wasn't even known like that back then. And his first album hadn't even been released. So what image was there to protect? And how would him having a child back then mess up his image? Well, guess what? It's possible that Jay-Z is denying the allegations because when he allegedly hooked up with Wanda, he was 22 and she was 6 years younger. Do the math and you'll understand why he refuses to have that DNA test done. Wanda's age when she hooked up with Jay-Z is actually something that Wanda's godmother noted when she said, I got a call from his in-house lawyer and they were very helpful and we thought we would resolve this privately. They even talked about Ramir's music talent and whether it was a good time to put him on the record label, but he had to finish high school, so I said no. Suddenly, different lawyers got involved and their attitude completely changed. I think they realized there was more at stake for Sean, given that Wanda was allegedly underage. Now, y'all know, even before Diddy's cases were made public, there were interviews behind the scenes for about a year, and the things that were made public were not even half of what happened. In Cassie's case particularly, Jay-Z and Beyonce were mentioned in the original document, and I don't know in what context, but they were edited out of the lawsuit. So it's possible that as we speak, there are already interviews and cases being put together, and if word on the street is anything to go by, Beyonce won't be by his side when things go down. Counting the days before the first official case against him drops?
Yeah. So again, alleged. So basically what they're saying is Jay-Z may have been dipping it and doing it with underage girls. And that is why he does not want to take the paternity test with this young man who has a very similar nose to him. Let me just put that there. Yes, justice for MIA, 100%. Russell Simmons, shout out to everybody in the chat box. Yeah, 2024 has been the year of the reveal, and we're not even done with February yet. So everybody, look, if you got some skeletons in your closet, you might as well clean them out yourself. It is the year of the reveal. So it would make sense just from a pure strategic standpoint if Beyonce would want to break up with him now and distance herself from him now. Now, in my opinion, I always think that the spouse knows. If the husband is dirty, I think the wife knows. If the wife is dirty, I think the husband knows. Do I think they necessarily heavily participate, whether it is fraud or whether it is these weird parties where allegedly, certain things go down without people's consent, or exploitation or trafficking, or all of these very dark and evil things? The level of participation, I don't know. But do I think there is knowledge? 100%. And that's just my opinion on the situation. Let's bring it back to Housewives. Like Jen Shaw. Do I think Coach Shaw was in on the scam? I do. With Tom Girardi and Erica Girardi. Do I think Erica Girardi was in on the scam? I do. Teresa Giudice and Joe Giudice. Do I think Teresa was in on the scam? I do. I think the spouse always knows. Their level of involvement may vary to either heavily involved to not so much involved, but knowledge of, knock it off. Now, when it comes to entertainment industry with these actors and athletes and musicians and huge people, I think they all participate. I'm not going to get too deep into what I think that participation means, but I think they participate. I think that's how they got to where they're at. But I'm just going to leave that right there because, again, I'm not trying to get too far deep into any rabbit hole. But let's watch part 3.
Close to filing a divorce. That in 2016, Bey dropped Lemonade, which was literally a breakup album. But it really looked like they worked things out, with Beyonce giving Jay-Z shout-outs here and there. But again, behind the scenes, things were reportedly not so good, even though they had their twins soon after. Maybe the kids were supposed to mend things, but we all know what happens when people decide to have babies as a solution to a broken marriage. Baby, it never ends well. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce have been able to keep up appearances for all these years, but reportedly that's going to be hard moving forward because Jay is up next to be exposed, the Diddy style, y'all. In case y'all haven't heard, insiders are saying that Diddy has no intention of going down alone. As a matter of fact, he has allegedly started snitching Jay-Z. These two have been always pretty close until recently when Diddy was exposed, but with Diddy allegedly snitching on him, it's not looking good in Jay's camp. What you need to know, guys, is that Jay-Z is not young. So that means that a lot of the things he did in the past are not on social media. That's why he's managed to keep things quiet this far. But it does not mean that people have not been spilling the tea. Let me tell y'all something. The first person who we expect to expose Jay is reportedly his dear wife, Beyonce, probably after the divorce becomes public. For starters, the timeline of when they started dating has always been sus. Well, Beyonce said in interviews that she was 18 when they first met and 19 when they first started dating. But based on folks who were around back in the day, Jay started hooking up with Beyonce when she was much younger, as young as Foxy Brown, when he hooked up with her.
This was allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right, I'll say alleged, but we know. Yeah, she hit it before Beyonce. Oh, Allegedly.
Sometime back, there were allegations that Jay took Fox's V card when he was 27 and she was in her teens, and he funded her shopping trips all while paying for her hair and nail salon visits while she was still in high school. See, the thing about Jay-Z is that he pays to keep things hidden from the headlines. With Beyonce, he married her, but with Foxy, there have been reports that he still pays her to keep the details of what happened between them a secret, which would explain why, when Foxy was questioned about the true nature of their relationship, she told TMZ, "The atrociousness of this story sickened me to my stomach. Any and everyone involved will be contacted by my attorney. In all my years in the music industry, these are the most disgusting and disrespectful allegations I've ever experienced. This fictitious story with no audio, visual, or written interview clearly was concocted with malicious intent." But you know who Jay-Z has been unable to pay off? Rymir Satterthwaite's family. Baby, Rymir has been trying for almost a decade to try and get Jay-Z to take a paternity test to prove he is his father. But apparently, Jay-Z used his power and influence to block that paternity test. Based on what Rymir spilled.
Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. So what do you guys believe? Do you think that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been happily married ever since Lemonade and they got all of the couples counseling he talked about in his interviews and they were able to come back together? Or do you think, nah, they have been a PR marriage for, just like Beyonce said herself, the billion-dollar brand? And now that that billion-dollar brand is threatened, Beyonce is about to jump ship. To me, that makes the most sense. I think Beyonce will jump ship because I think before him is her. Do you know what I mean? I think that she stayed with him, maybe not so much because she loved him. Sure, she may love him, but I think people who get to levels like a Beyonce, they make their persona and their brand their number one. And so I think now that that is threatened by staying with him, she will leave him. Do I think she's going to turn against him in the sense of spilling all of his tea? No, I don't think that Beyonce is going to say anything publicly because she doesn't really talk, like in general. Like, when do you ever really hear her speak? Not very often. And then also, she doesn't really talk publicly about anything. She never responds. She never really talks publicly. I think it will all be done through PR. It'll be done through anonymous press releases, sources to media outlets, but I don't think any of it will be Beyonce out of her own mouth ever. But I think in order to save herself, she's jumping ship. Do I think she's innocent? In my personal opinion, no. I think she was involved in and knew of and participated in all of it. I do. Now, that's just my opinion. Bayhive, leave me alone. Don't come for me. If you don't like what I'm saying, click off to the next, okay? Don't come for me, Bayhive. This is nothing against Beyonce personally. This is just my opinion observing human behavior and common sense. Right now, I think she is in self-preservation mode. Another reason why I think this is true, and I think that Beyonce is because when everything came out with Diddy and Cassie, I think it was a little bit too convenient that the narrative was like, Beyonce helped Cassie too, Kim Porter, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I've never seen Beyonce and Cassie in a photo ever. I've never seen Beyonce and Kim Porter in a photo ever. I've never seen Beyonce in a photo with other women other than Kelly Rowland. That hasn't been a very strategic photo op. I've never seen Beyonce have any female friends other than her sister and Kelly. So do I think Beyonce helped Cassie? No. Do I think that is her team thinking 25 steps ahead of the media? Yes. I think they planted that because again, I think everything we know about Diddy is because the powers that be, whatever you want to call those powers, whoever you think those powers are, I don't know, allowed it to happen. Because just like a Thomas Girardi, just like anybody, people don't run any type of scheme, whether it is an SA or a violent or trafficking or, exploiting people, sex, fraud for decades without higher people allowing it to happen. But when your card comes up, when your name is called, then those same powers that be are going to be the same people to take you down. Because you don't get away with it and you don't profit from it for decades in a vacuum. It is a system. It's an industry. It's basically like organized crime. It's a system. It's systematic. And we may think these Diddy's and Tom Girardi's and these Beyoncé's are the highest of the highs, but who is writing their checks? Those are the real people in power. And so the only reason why these people are being exposed is because the people who are truly in power are allowing it to happen. For whatever reason, maybe it's a changing of the guard. I don't know. For whatever reason, maybe the veil is getting thinner. I don't know. For whatever reason. So I do think it's strategy that all of a sudden, Beyonce, who I've never seen her truly support any other female, if we're being honest, other than a lip service. I want all my dancers to be women and all my artists to be women, all my, music people to be women. Okay, that's great PR. That's great. Cool. But when has she ever mentored someone? When has she ever put somebody on? When has she ever had female friends? All of a sudden, she's helping Cassie. That's a bunch of crock. I think they're going to try to save Beyonce, but but his time is about to be up. That's why he was at the Grammys looking like Kanye West, about to lose his damn mind. I don't want to embarrass this young lady, and the math ain't mathing, and you guys got to make sure things are. I was like, who? What the? Even his daughter was looking at him like, well, Blue Ivy was even shook. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. He was looking like a man who was all out of sorts. That didn't look like $1 billion brand to me, Jay. That looked like a man who knew his time was a tickety ticky boom boom up. That's why he was up there at the Grammys looking like a broke down Kanye. Because he knows, for whatever reason, maybe they stopped paying, maybe it's a changing of the guard. I don't know. But the time is up. The time is up. But it seems to me like the powers that be are going to try to save Beyonce. But Jay-Z, I don't want to say sacrifice, because I think he was a willing participant, but I think his time might be up. That's why all his little soldiers around him are falling. The TD Jakes, the Tyler Perrys, the Russell Simmons, the R. Kellys, the P. Diddy's, If all of your soldiers are falling, it's only a matter of time before the head person falls too. So I'm just going to leave that there. I don't know. Bayhive, don't come for me. I'm not sending for you. This is not the conversation for you. If you are a cult-like person, if you are a Kool-Aid drinking person, this isn't for you. These are for people who are their own minds, who think for themselves, who speak for themselves, have their own discernment, and they worship no man on this planet. This is the content for that person. Okay? So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Jay-Z and Beyonce, the time's up? Jay is about to be exposed, and Beyonce is like, I don't know him. Don't come from my bag. Don't come from my public image. Leave me alone. I'm going to go over here and do some country doodle-doo stuff. Leave me out of it. Again, even I think Beyonce now all of a sudden doing country. I even think that is PR strategy. The whole rebrand of Beyonce and country now. I think that's nothing but PR. I think her team is very, very smart, very, very strategic. You don't become $1 billion brand by accident, Or do you think, no, they're happy campers and Jay just had a moment, a little bit of too much, whatever at the Grammys, but they're fine. Let me know what you guys think. Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to Kyle Richards. Natasha says the ads are out of control. What are the ads? What are the ads saying now? Let me know. Okay. Now let's talk about Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky and my new theory as to the timing of their split and why they are splitting. Wait, hold on, you guys. You guys, I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Like, subscribe, and share. All right, you guys, I'm back. Okay, so you're saying the ads are. So Miss Dugan says no ads here, and then you guys are saying Candy Crush ads. Wow. I don't know what's going on. Is it because I'm talking about Beyonce and Monique and Jay-Z that the ads are going nuts? I don't know. I don't know. So I'll figure out what's going on with the ads. If they are annoying, I apologize. I'll try and figure it out. Okay, now let's dive right on in. So let's talk about Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky and my new conspiracy theory as to why I think Kyle called it quits with him when she did. So, as we all know, Kyle and Mauricio married for 27 years. Over the past year or so, have been separated. There's been questions of why. Is it just for a storyline? Is it because of his cheating? Is it real? Is it fake? What's going on with her and Morgan and all of that stuff? So I think it's a combination of things. But then after watching the last episode, something occurred to me. So do I think it's the cheating allegations? Yes. Do I think it's the unfortunate death of her friend and that kind of sent her into a crisis? Yes. Do I think it's for storyline? Yes, I do. I think it's real, but I also think it gave her something to talk about and to be talked about. And also, do I believe her and Morgan are in a romantic relationship? No, I think that's PR. But then when I was watching the last episode, she made this comment about, I wouldn't want my daughters to tolerate this either. And something just in me said, oh, that's why she finally left him. Because Farah, I think it's Farah, her eldest daughter, who don't forget is not Mauricio's biological daughter. That is her daughter from her first marriage, ended her engagement to her longtime boyfriend, Alex, allegedly because he was cheating. So then I thought, and I have the clip and we can watch it in a little bit. It's funny how right around the time that Farah ended her engagement to Alex is right around the time, unfortunately, her friend Lorraine passed away. Also, right around the time she started hanging out with Morgan, right around the time she basically started to call it quits with Mauricio. And I then created the parallels between Farah and Alex and Kyle and Mauricio. Number one, obvious cheating. So allegedly, Alex was cheating on Farah. We talked about this back in November of 2022. That's me, you guys. Oh my God, I look like such a baby in that photo. That was like in 2022. There was the blind item of that this housewife's offspring, who has her own show, is being cheated on by her significant other. And allegedly, that was Farrah and Alex. Now, if you guys watched Buying Beverly Hills, you would know their relationship was absolute cringe. It was cringe. I felt really bad. I called her a glorified booty call because I just didn't understand how you are two grown adults and yet she still had to bring an overnight bag when she would stay over his place. If I am in a point in a relationship where I'm like, where's my ring? But when I get up in the morning to go home, I have to take all my stuff with me. That's a huge disconnect. That's a glorified booty call. That's a you up text. That's a, you know what I'm saying? That's just like that's your buddy. That's your F buddy. You know, that's not your man. Why can't you can't leave your toothpaste, you can't leave your contact solution, you can't leave your bonnet, you can't leave it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't leave your retainer. Like, what? I was like, girl. And that leads me to more of what I was saying about the similarities. Also with Buying Beverly Hills, Mauricio allegedly was cheating with multiple agents at the agency. Farrah works at the agency. And I think after the Buying Beverly Hills show came on, in my opinion, I bet a lot of those little women he allegedly was cheating with was like, well, I want to be on the show. I'm smashing the boss. Can I be on the show? She works there. I'm sure she's hearing things. That can't be comfortable because that's her mother. And Mauricio's her stepfather. I would feel some type of way if I worked at a place and everybody was saying that all of these chicks were smashing the boss and the boss happened to be married to my mother. And the reason why I bring up Buying Beverly Hills is I bet you the dynamic changed once the show was shot and aired at the agency. Because obviously Farrah worked at the agency prior to filming, but I bet you the dynamic changed. Once you get money involved, TV involved, ego involved, fame involved, I bet you the dynamics changed. Once you get a show, it's going to be different. And I bet you more people started talking. People probably wanted camera time. People probably wanted this, that, and the third. And if I'm at a place and everybody's talking about how the boss is sleeping with this person and that person, but yet he goes home and sleeps with my mother, I'm going to have a problem with that. And did you notice that right after Buying Beverly Hills, Kyle and Mauricio started having problems. Morgan started popping up, all of this stuff. Right around that time. I don't think it's a coincidence in my Nini voice. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in conspiracy. Speaking of, buy one of our t-shirts down below. Shameless plug. Anyway. And then also on the show Buying Beverly Hills, Alex clearly gave her a shut up ring that was just for the show. The whole engagement seemed staged for the show. Also, think about public humiliation. When it comes to the cheating, when it comes to not being a priority, when it comes to all of that, right? For Kyle, it was the tabloids. She's cussing out Lisa Vanderpump for bringing up tabloids, but it's not Lisa Vanderpump's fault. This was like seasons ago that the world is talking about your husband cheating on you, you know? And then for the cheating rumors to continue every year after year. That's humiliating. And then for Farrah to be on Buying Beverly Hills, that had to be humiliating. I felt bad for her. I think she's a beautiful girl. She seems super smart, really ambitious. I have no issue. I actually think she's like really nice. And I would be like friends with her if I knew her in real life. She seemed really cool. And I felt really bad for her and all of her friends on the show was like, girl, this guy's just not that into you. Like, why are you wasting your time with him? Is basically what everybody on the show said. He's not that into you. You're a glorified booty call. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're wasting your time. That's basically what everybody on the show said. That's pretty humiliating. And it shouldn't be. But unfortunately, Because it shouldn't be humiliating for the woman. It should be humiliating for the man. Because if you're not into someone and you know they're really into you, be a man and end it. So it should be humiliating for him. But unfortunately, in our society, the woman is the one who usually ends up feeling embarrassed and humiliated and looking stupid. I'm not saying that's right, but unfortunately, that's usually how it goes. She's out here looking dumb as hell, unfortunately, right? Then to have that relationship collapse. So when Kyle says, I wouldn't want this for my daughters, a light bulb went off. And I was like, ugh, that is what happened. Because I'm sure Farrah was like, listen, mom, you're telling me I deserve more. I should be with a man who prioritizes me, who wants to be with me, who spends time with me, who doesn't cheat on me. But yet you're still with Mauricio. So you really can't tell me nothing. Do you know what I mean? So there's that. There's that. So and then I found this on Reddit, which confirmed that Kyle and daughter and her fiance ended their engagement. It says multiple sources have confirmed that Kyle Rich's daughter Farrah and fiance Alex Manos have ended their engagement. Farrah, who goes by Farrah Brittany professionally, is a star of Buying Beverly Hills. And this was around 5 months ago. I'm not sure when 5 months ago from today or before, or from further in the past, but she definitely was not with him when Kim's daughter, Brooke, I think, got married, because he was nowhere to be seen. And that was also around the time when Kyle wasn't wearing her wedding ring, was doing stunts, having her whole, like, just the KR luggage, not the KRU luggage for Umansky. So all around this time, the same time that Farrah was ending her engagement with Alex, Kyle was losing her damn mind and calling it quits with Mauricio. I don't think it's a coincidence. Okay, but let's watch what Kyle had to say. And let me know what you guys think about the body language between Kyle and Mauricio. Like, what do you think Mauricio is thinking? Because once I rewatched this, I kind of changed my mind on what I thought about Mauricio.
I think it's been great we've been talking to him too. I thought it was important to go to couples therapy because the more difficult things have become between us, the more difficult it has been to communicate. This year has been very challenging for us,
100%.
And so.
Breathe. Say whatever you want to say.
Even though we've been so good about talking in these sessions, I still find that I'm like, well, I really want to talk about this. Well, when are we meeting with Jamie next?
Well, it becomes fun.
I wouldn't say fun.
Well, I mean,
it feels good.
Good, yes.
I mean, I wasn't laughing in those sessions. My point is, I don't know if that's the right adjective. I think feels good.
Sure.
Love
that adjective. I'm good with that. We've gone through a tough few months, tough year, whatever you want to call it, right? Having a session with him helps me be more in tune with myself.
I hope it helps you kind of reflect.
Well, that's what I mean by being in tune, right? Yes, reflection.
I'll let you finish that by your problems here.
All I'm saying is that this is helping us. I think we're in a way better place. Way better place. And we've been married for 27 years. We've never had so much going on in our lives. It's become hard, right? It's become really hard.
Well, I'm not someone who's gonna, while you're at work, stay home and go shopping.
Nor do I want you to. Your career is amazing. You've got all these amazing creative ideas about shows and all these things. And I've grown a lot. I have 85 offices. I'm going to have 100 offices by the end of this year, right? I'm opening up 2 offices a month. I mean, it's crazy stuff. We're both growing. We're both changing. We're about to be empty nesters. We've hit our 50s.
We're not empty nesters yet, though. You keep saying that.
I know, honey, but from your perspective, you're looking at today, and today you're correct. I'm looking at, what tomorrow is going to look like, and tomorrow is going to be here very fast.
But the point is, for me, yes, I'm thinking of that, but I'm also, we have to think about today. I sometimes just get frustrated that I don't feel like I'm being heard. I want to be in a place in my life that I feel happy and fulfilled. I'm not going to stay in a situation that I'm not happy in, and things that I wouldn't want my daughters to accept, I'm not going to accept for myself.
We've never, ever, throughout this process, stopped loving each other.
So, oh. Anyway, so, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah. So I think at this point, Mauricio is done. I think he was just going along to get along. I think he's so irritated with her. I think at this point he's done. And I think that now the dynamic is more of Kyle trying to win him back over and save her marriage. That's what I think the current, like in real time now reality is. Because don't forget, this was filmed months ago. This was from the last episode, which was last week. I think that it started out with Kyle in crisis because of all of these reasons. The cheating, the getting older, her best friend dying, Farah's engagement ending. I think her seeing herself in her daughter. When she said, I didn't want my daughters to accept these things, my first gut was like, oh my gosh, Farah. I'm saying Farah. If I'm mispronouncing her name, I apologize. And I'm going in and out, but I'm human. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, that was another big catalyst for it. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that her daughter's engagement collapses the same exact time her marriage collapses. Now, do I think that if it was just her daughter's engagement ending, would her marriage collapse? No. But I think it's all of these things, It's like the, one drop and one drop and one drop, and then it's the straw. I think it's all of those things made the perfect storm for what's happening. But I think the fact that Kyle went so far with being against Mauricio and all of this stuff, not that she's not justified, and not that I'm saying his cheating should just be forgiven and overlooked. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying how things usually play out. Usually when someone is in trauma and in crisis, they go all the way to the other extreme. And then the people in their lives don't understand. They don't understand it. I think he was confused. I think he was trying, but I think now he's kind of done and over it. And I think now what we see Kyle doing, she was distancing herself from Morgan Wade. We see them out now, but to me, those posts now are just very thirsty and kind of just confirms that it was a PR relationship, because the moment Morgan deleted all the images and Kyle was on Jeff Lewis being like, she's just one chick in the rotation. She's just somebody I text in the morning that I text everybody with. She's just another chick in the rotation. After all that, then people were like, what happened? Are they fighting? I think that they were scared that there would be backlash. So then all of a sudden we see Kyle and Morgan out at, Craig's with Kesha, and they're hanging out again and they're stepping out again. Oh no, we're good. Everything's fine. We're not fighting, because they're trying to figure out, how do we end the PR relationship without any side getting backlash? It's like when you date Taylor Swift for money and fans and credibility, you kind of know once you break up, you're going to be the bad person. I think they're trying to figure out how to end Morgan and Kyle without backlash from the fans or without too much speculation. That's why now we're getting that stuff. And that's why now we get Kyle wearing her Umansky jacket. Right before they filmed the reunion, she called the paparazzi on herself. She called Backgrid, and she's spotted wearing a Umansky jacket all of a sudden, and then she's defending Mauricio. He didn't do anything wrong by not coming to the celebration of life and blah, 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 blah. Because I think usually when you're in crisis, you go so far, but then once you start to heal and once you start to come back to yourself, and then once you start to get better and kind of get grounded, you're like, well, wait a minute. I didn't really want to blow up my life. I was just in crisis. And I think that it went so far that Mauricio was now out here dipping it and doing it. She's like, wait a minute, no, I actually don't want to blow up my life like this. I don't want not to be married. I just want a better marriage. And I think that's where Kyle's at, if that makes sense. So let's see here. Let's talk about Kyle talking about the final straw with Mauricio. As you guys know, I think the final straw was her daughter ending her engagement. I think that was the final straw. And I think a lot of the straws were the death of her friend Lorene, cheating, the end of her daughter's engagement, getting older, midlife crisis. But let's see what Kyle had to say. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says, Kyle Richards still hasn't decided the fate of her marriage to Mauricio Umansky. As the 13th season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills nears its end, Kyle is offering an update on where she stands with Mauricio, revealing that what would lead her to file for divorce, sharing her thoughts on Mauricio prioritizing work, and admitting that when it comes to Mauricio's growth, she's seen changes in her husband in recent months. Again, everything goes back to what I was saying. Now all of a sudden she's seeing changes because she wants him back. Girl, stop. I'm not hiding anything from anybody, Kyle insisted during a February 14th interview with Entertainment Tonight. I'm working through things myself, and I'm going through something, and I want to be able to be as open as I possibly can, and I will be when I figure it all out. Although they've been separated since last summer, Kyle and Mauricio have continued to live with one another and their 3 daughters, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia. And when it comes to calling it quits on their marriage, Kyle said that they would only do so if their arrangement stops working. Okay. Divorce would be if we can no longer do what we're doing right now, Kyle explained. We were never fighters. We're not a toxic couple, so we've been able to manage that so far. I don't know. The interactions I've seen between them this season have been pretty toxic. Just because you're not screaming at somebody doesn't mean the energy isn't unhealthy. It has seemed very passive aggressive. It has seemed very tense, very strained. The energy is off. Toxicity isn't just yelling and screaming. Toxicity is the quality of the energy. And the quality was very negative and unhealthy. So stop. It's going to be one way or the other, We're either going to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, we could actually fix this. Or it's going to be divorce. I mean, I just don't know how sustainable living under the same roof as friends and as a family can last. I don't know how that can last. Okay, girl. So now she's talking about waking up one day and being like, we can actually fix this. Because you want to fix it, Kyle. Stop lying. You ain't going nowhere, and you're not letting Mauricio go. You lost your mind for a minute. You were in crisis. And now that you're doing the work, you've been in therapy for a while now. You're coming down to yourself. You're healing. And now you're looking around and being like, wait a minute. I don't want to blow this whole thing up. I just want something different. According to Kyle, there was a turning point where the straw broke the camel's back in her marriage and caused her to call it and ask for a separation. I was always very proud of the fact that we were able to grow together in the years of our marriage. And I think it got to a point where he was so busy and I'm working and we weren't necessarily growing together. And I think that's when the problems that we had sort of put on the back burner started to bubble up again, she revealed. Nearly 1 year later, Kyle, who is nearly 2 years sober, is prioritizing herself and doing what makes her happy. I hate to say it's because it sounds almost selfish, but really just working on myself. Working on myself is taking care of myself physically, emotionally, and really digging very deep and learning a lot about myself. And with that means where I go, where I spend my time, who I spend my time with, and in fact, I'm finding joy, and it doesn't look like it used to, she admitted. Looking back on the tragic taking of her own life of her best friend Lorene Shea, Kyle said the loss put things into perspective. Lorene was the person that was most like me, and I think in losing her and seeing her go through this, I really did think, well, we're only here for so long, and what is important to you, and who do you want to spend time with, and who you want to feel valued in each day is precious, she explained. So, yeah, I mean, we might as well have a crystal ball over here with the candy canes because we called this over a year ago. But let's keep going. During an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills earlier this season, Kyle hosted a National Alliance for Mental Health event in honor of Lorene, and because Mauricio did not attend due to work commitments, he faced backlash. I did go through a phase where I thought, why is our relationship not as important as work? Which I'm sure many women feel that. And I know he has a very important job, and not just with his work, but he has a big family to take care of and support. So it's not like it's all on him or all on me, you know, Kyle reasoned. I'm just careful about how I word it and what I say because I do care about him so much and have tremendous amount of respect for him and what we built. And I don't want to damage that by talking about it negatively. Kyle wants her man back. Like, just say, I want you back, Mauricio. I'm sorry. I lost my damn mind. I want you back. While Kyle wasn't initially on board with sharing her marital issues on the show, producers quickly realized that something was off. You guys, I can't. I mean, I can't. This is so cookie cutter, textbook. It's insane. It's insane. She says there's misconceptions with Morgan and they're free to date, blah, blah, blah. Like I said before, I think they will never divorce. And I think they'll be back together in 3 to 6 months. Maybe, let's say 3 to 9 months. He might want to play a little bit more. But I think Kyle wants her marriage back and she wants her man back. And she's like, okay, I'm done playing. And he's like, no, you put me through hell. You made me miserable. I'm going to go keep playing a little bit more while I have this hall pass. That's what I think is going on. Do you guys think Kyle will leave Beverly Hills? Do you think her time is up? Do you think she should leave? What do you guys think? Put it down below. Let's see. I'm going to see if I want to finish this article or not, because it's kind of just like the same thing over and over again. No, there's no need to. So let me know what you guys think. You know, do you think the fact that, you know, her daughter was going through very similar things, not being prioritized, allegedly being cheated on, and facing public humiliation was the straw that broke the camel's back that Kyle is referring to in the article that made her step away from her marriage to Mauricio? I think it was one of the big ones. And do you think it will be addressed on Buying Beverly Hills? Put it down below. But before you do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Woo, that was a doozy, you guys. I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat. And let's do some candy cane questions and comments, okay? And let me know if you guys like these types of videos where I do more of pop culture stuff. And always be sure to DM me or email me if you have any requests, okay? So again, shout out to Chocolate Chunks. Shout out to Tion, who requested the Jay-Z and Beyonce and requested the Monique and her son. So if you guys have any requests, be sure to let me know. Hey, Tay says hi, Candy. Hey, Chocolate Chunks, thank you for the request and also being a channel member. Hey, Miss T, thank you for being my mod and holding me down. Hey, Natasha, she says hi. Chocolate Chunk says, if you think about everything surrounding the recent actor strike in Hollywood, Monique looks like she's more in the right. I think there are gatekeepers in Black Hollywood, and I think those gatekeepers have gatekeepers. I don't think Oprah has the power everyone thinks she does. Look at The Color Purple and what happened with Taraji. True. Latasky says, what happened with her son? Yeah, the Cliff Notes version is fine. Miss T says, Mo doesn't take responsibility for her part. Hi, Ivy Can't Be Broken says, hi, Candy. Hey, sweetheart. He has her voice, says Chocolate Chunks. Miss T says, the son seems like he has set boundaries with his mom. Exactly. Hey, Adam. Adam says, hey, Candy, all the cans. Hey, sweetheart. Miss T says, shop it now. Jossie says, I kind of believe him, but at the end of the day, a lot of people have similar issues with their parents. He has emotional abandonment issues. He needs to move. He needs to move to get to therapy, seek God, and work on himself, separate from his mom. I agree. You can't compare traumas, 100%. Joe says, the end of that summary sounded a little preachy. I'm glad I'm not like you, godless mom, but his pain and experiences are very believable to me. God said no, so you went to the universe. Exactly. That was a powerful statement. That he said a lot without saying, but that was a very powerful statement. Atas says every child is different, has different emotional needs. He clearly needed more, and now has that wound. Yep, Atas says Joe, exactly. Joe says, I totally agree. Every child is different and often get the standard treatment. Miss T says, I think the son has found his reality and is okay with it. Yep. Jordan says, Monique really exposed herself. I agree. Airing all this in public, will that be a new trend? It's a very different, effective way to get Monique's attention, says Joe. Miss T says, Mo is definitely a narcissist. Oh, yes, Candy, that's condescending tone. The Tasky says, a lot of people don't understand that. On paper, we give these things look great, but what we need is the intangible things that money can't buy. Hey, Natasha. You want to share? I think you're on mute.
Being a boomer and forgetting that.
It's okay. I'm going to give my voice a rest, so go ahead, girl.
Oh, well, first of all, I'm so happy you're live. I missed you.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start. I feel like we've been chatting about like a whole lot. There's so many directions.
Yes. Anywhere you want to go. We got Beyonce,
like, should
Monique,
we spin
Kyle.
a wheel?
You just wherever the wind takes you.
Well, you were so very insightful about the whole Monique thing. Like I even felt like, I think a lot of us on some level have experienced something similar. And I feel like that's, and because like, that's kind of like why a lot of people before they realized Monica was a psycho could kind of relate to her, because it is something that happens. And I genuinely could feel the energy from, like, I'm looking at his picture right now and it almost makes me want to cry. Because you could just
tell.
see the pain. I can't, and in fact, I need to not even look at it, because I'm a bit empathic, so I'll start absorb it. Yeah. But yeah, you could just see the pain in his eyes. But I agree with that. I'm hopeful for him, because the calmness in his voice told me that this was something that he is currently dealing with and working on. Like, I usually, when this happens, if someone hasn't worked on themselves or hasn't talked to someone, or leaned into their faith or whatever, they're going to come across way more angry. And he didn't necessarily had that. He had like a calmness, and he was very articulate. And I feel like he was fair in the way he spoke, it wasn't coming from like an angry, vengeful place. And my heart goes out to him for sure. Cause like I said, like you could see the pain in his eyes. And what's weird is that me, I love a good tinfoil hat,
Me too.
and I love a good expose, but for some reason with Monique, I never felt it. I never like bought into what she was saying. Things were always a bit off.
Same.
I didn't necessarily, it wasn't as clear as it is now, but something was off. Like normally I could like look at something and be like, oh, something happened to this person. Okay, we're support. You know what I mean? But for her, for some reason, like even and I've spoke to you before about like, things about Oprah that I've learned, and I was like, but we won't go there. We won't go there. Don't worry. But yeah, for some reason with her, I was like, I don't know. And this makes so much sense to me. Yeah, she just gives this narcissist, and a narcissist will always drop their mask. And when we saw her, when she looked in the camera and was like, you know who your mother is, there was like this ugliness that just shot through. And it was like, oh, this woman is showing who she really is. And I don't know. And I always thought her calling her husband a daddy, I just always think that's weird in general. I don't know. Call me prude, whatever. Like,
No,
that's
it's
just not my
weird.
vibe.
It's like, she's not like, call me daddy in the bedroom, but like call me by my name in public. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? And then the fact that she kept calling her son, I got the screenshots, but I was like, I'm not even wasting my time prepping it. She kept calling her every time she talked to her son, who is now in his early 30s. She said, baby, 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 my baby, my baby. And I was just like, he's a grown man. Like, that's weird. You know? You there, Natasha?
Yeah. Why does it keep doing that? I feel like the Beyonce spirits are after us.
I know. And everybody was getting weird ads. I was like, what's going on?
All of a sudden, I got like 6 ads for Farmer's Dog. I was like, what is going on? I mean, it's great food for your dog, but like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Candy. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Jay. What's up?
I'm good.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah. I just want to say something about Jay-Z. I think it's time for him to get exposed.
Oh, yeah. I was about to get on that.
Because, yeah, I still remember what he did to, Foxy Brown when she was allegedly underage. It's really, like, dark around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aaliyah, too. And, yeah.
Yep.
I've been, like...
It's hard not to, like, go down.
Yeah.
I could, like, feel you trying not to, but, like, it's hard.
Yeah, because I've been reading some Reddit tea, and it's all over there.
Yep.
Lipstick Alley too. It's a bunch of like allegations, hiding like lawsuit. It's crazy. Yeah. So I think it's time for him to get exposed, and I think Beyonce should be also exposed by protecting him, because I think she knows all about his secret, and keep quiet.
Yeah, and also it's just like you have like when you're in that type of world, you're participating in it. Because if you get to a certain level by doing certain things, I'm not saying that's the only way to get there. I'm not saying that the only way to get to fame and success and wealth and all of this stuff is through dark. I'm not saying that. There are people who get there, and you can get there through the light. I'm not saying that. But when you are so tied to someone who allegedly, with all the allegations, got it through the dark, there's no way you're gonna look me in the face and say you stayed in the light, but yet you chose to marry, have children with, and build $1 billion brand with someone who is allegedly in the dark. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
You're a part of the dark.
I mean, and it's just sealed it for me when I saw him wear that shirt that says "Do It Thou Wilt," because if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, he was absolutely a disgrace of a human being and super evil. And like that just shows his energy. Like, why are you wearing that? Why are you promoting that?
Is that like his like quote or something?
Yeah, it's one of his famous quotes. It's what a lot of Satanists believe. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to use that word.
No, we rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, we rebuke that all day in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, we are not
in the mighty name of Jesus.
Yeah, not for you guys, but for any energetic thing out there. This is not a portal. You have no authority. We are Jesus Christ over here. So
you're not welcome.
You're rebuked. I'm not playing that game. I don't want any darkness. No.
So for me, that was just like basically telling, yeah, your suspicions are correct. And the way, and ever since, remember, I mean, again, call me a conspiracy theorist, but when that drummer came out, I was like, oh, I believe her.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
As far-fetched as it sounds, I absolutely believed her.
Yeah.
I just like kind of like, and I hate it how like when people go through traumas, this is what's unfortunate, because a lot of times when people go through traumas, their mental health does suffer. And then we have a society that dismisses, like, remember, what's his name? Dave Chappelle said the worst thing you could say is call someone crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's dismissive. That's dismissive of what they are. And that's not even a valid mental, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate, and then it's easy to dismiss, and which is how these people get away with it for so long. And I definitely think they were abusing their powers with these people. And have you guys noticed though? I just get this hunch, and I might have like read something too, not gonna lie, but like the way she is in public, it's giving sedation or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
People are saying
absolutely.
she's a
Yeah.
clone.
Like,
Well, they say that he DRUGGEDs her
oh yeah, I
Oh
saw it.
wow.
Yeah.
for control. For
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you see like the picture of her
But
or
I'm
the
down with a
video,
clone too.
you can see
Who
that
knows?
she's not there. Like you look at her and it's like it's
The lights are on
dead.
and no one's home.
Yeah, she might be sedated or something. But when you see her, like she doesn't really talk. And she talks very like choppy, like, yes, of course, thank you for this Grammy, ma'am. Like it's very weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, she was never good at like articulating. And like a while ago,
Yeah.
because she always had like a very thick Southern accent. And I think she was kind of like insecure about her like vocabulary or whatever. And I feel like her PR team kind of was like, okay, we need to like limit your speaking engagements because this isn't doing great stuff for the brand.
Yeah.
Just do your singing and dance thing, girl. We'll handle the rest.
Yeah,
But like,
because sometimes
oh, sorry, go.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
Well, hey
No.
Adam.
Hi Candy, hi Natasha.
Welcome
Hi.
to the club.
Hi. Do you remember when Wendy
How are you doing,
Williams?
Candy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes, Jay. Yeah, that was the main
That was
one.
so funny when when she said like Beyonce talks like a toddler from like 3 years. I don't know, something like that. It was funny.
Well, there was this like super toxic, like I don't watch her anymore, and she could have very well been lying, but there was this super toxic creator on that claimed they used to work for like Star Magazine or something. So they were frequent among like a lot of celebrities and like gossip and stuff. And she said one of her old editors was at a dinner with Beyonce, and it was just really bizarre. She was acting like she was like a child, like her, I don't know. It was almost like
I
his
remember.
impression was
that.
like okay, she can't be this has to be an act where she's like being, because someone was gifting I think the story was someone was gifting a chess board game and they put it in a Prada bag.
Oh yeah,
And
in a dinner, yeah.
Yeah, at a dinner.
Yeah.
And you heard that too. And Beyonce was like, chess makes Prada makes chess. And she was going on, and everyone was like, no, girl, it's just in a bag. And she could not wrap her head around it. And it was like almost childlike and bizarre. And everyone was like, is she okay? I don't know. I always remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Michael Jackson syndrome, where it's like they didn't have a childhood. So like they may like they're like machines. You know,
Yeah,
she
for
was
real.
basically born and bred to be Beyonce.
How
it's
she's pretty similar
was
when you think about to
Beyonce?
Britney.
Yeah,
They were both on Star Search.
Very Britney, Jessica Simpson, Michael Jackson. The only ones who really got out unscathed was Ryan Gosling.
Right?
What were you saying, Adam? Go ahead.
How old were Kelly Rowland and Beyonce and the other Destiny's Child when they first started?
I don't know how old they were when they first started, but they were all child stars. Like there's like her when she's on like little, like singing and all of that stuff. Like they were like born for this. I don't know like the exact age. It was like before my time, but like you see all the stuff going on.
1990 is when they first. Okay, 1990. So
well,
Beyonce is how old now?
I used to be a friend of her. I used to be a fan of hers since like 1999, the No 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 remix. This is the remix, the Wyclef Jean. Like I was obsessed, and then
this is the remix, Natasha.
Every
like this is the remix.
No. Yeah, that one. And the Writing on the Wall CD, which has the Say My Name and all that on it. That album, when I tell you, me and all my friends And you were literally not cool unless you knew every single verse to every single, even the last verse, which was their rendition of Amazing Grace. You knew like every ad lib, everything. Like otherwise you were a loser. Like they were everything to us when we were young. And I held her at a very high ground for a while. And then once I kind of was more aware spiritually, things weren't sitting right. And I don't try to attach myself or give my energy to those type of things. So I had to let her go.
Mm.
Yeah. And I remember like one of the Destiny's Child member.
Farrah.
Yes, it's all alleged, but I think, or another one, I don't remember what, but one of them, she quit and she was about to tell like or to write a book talking about her experience in the group, and allegedly there's, I don't know who it could be, I don't know, but they shut her off. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like she passed away? Shut up?
No.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we gotta be specific when we're talking about this stuff because it could be
Yes.
anything.
Yeah.
But in terms of them actually getting a divorce, I mean, I don't think it will happen in the sense that they kind of went into this kind of as a package deal, as you were saying earlier, $1 billion relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, on this side of the pond, like we Beyonce has always been liked and what have you, but from what other musicians have said is that Beyonce always kind of had this thing against Jay-Z for being heavily involved in Rihanna's career over her career.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, even though I give both women and other artists like Adele what they're worth and they're good performers, but in terms of an actual musician that I would say that I was hearing on the radio, I would hear Rihanna more on the radio or on Spotify back in the day than any Beyonce song in this side of the pond. I don't know if that surprises you, but
they used to have battles in like when I lived in Brooklyn. They used to have like a party where it's like the Beyonce versus Rihanna party, and they would just like play.
Oh my God.
They would just like play all Beyonce and all Rihanna. It was funny.
I'm Team Rihanna. I love her. I think she's like so fun and like cool. And I mean, I don't know if I would have picked ASAP, but like he's not. I don't have to.
Chris Brown.
I don't mess with any of them anymore, but
I just feel like
I did like Rihanna.
I just feel like I wish it could have worked out with that billionaire guy.
Oh, the Saudi.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
the Saudi guy. Yeah,
I heard he was controlling and wanted her to be like the next Janet Jackson, because Janet Jackson married.
Oh,
and she was like no.
Gotcha.
I mean, in her own fault, she's a billionaire, so she doesn't need another billionaire to satisfy her. But like, most people don't
it's
on their own path.
But it's not about the money. It's not about. I'm not saying I wanted her with a billionaire because she needed his money, because she's
obviously not.
I mean more of like ASAP is now having to like fight charges and like all that stuff, and like I didn't know the guy was controlling, so now I'm like, no, screw him. What I mean is like I want her with a guy who like doesn't come with so much baggage.
Yeah, like
beautiful Rihanna. She's pregnant again. She's about to pop again. Like, you don't need the stress of like, now my my partner and the father of my children, we have to fight these charges. Like, Rihanna needs to be pretty not in court. Like, you know what I mean? That's more of what I was saying by it.
Obviously, I won't doubt that. But I mean, like, when I saw her live
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second, Adam. Wait 1 second, sweetheart. Chocolate Chunk says Rihanna is also in those dark arts. Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. No,
Girl, yes, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you don't
I
even
think
know.
they're all
They
do
all are.
Hollywood people
The
are
Illuminati
wicked.
is everywhere now.
Like,
the
let me just pretend. Let me be delusional. Like,
I heard that she's actually the head one.
wait, you guys. Natasha tried to break my heart. Let me tell you. So
Oh.
you know how you know what I'm about to say. You know what I'm about to say. So
I'm dying.
I have a wee bit of a crush.
Just a small little one.
Smidgen crush on Tom Hiddleston. So she sends me this
the
like
guy who made you laugh tipsy and
screenshot
stuff.
of him doing like it was like a split second of like devil horns or something.
See, I catch it though. I
And
catch
I was
it
like,
now. I got that trained eye.
don't try to like mess up what my imaginary life is with this.
Oh, you were so funny the other day when you were acting so tipsy.
You were like schoolgirl crushing hard. It was like your voice changed. It was hilarious. I was like, Candy?
Okay, go Adam.
Vodka with 3 olives. It's the Illuminati. But in terms of though, do you see them divorcing? Let's say at the end of this year.
I see. I don't have a time for it, but I think whenever I give it 1 to 3 months before there's a lawsuit against him. Before there is something like specific, concrete, whether it's a lawsuit, whether it's a press release, whether it's a, I don't know, TikTok interview, whatever the hell people are doing these days.
Because there was the whole thing with Becky.
Do you want to know something crazy?
Yes.
Becky with the good hair. Wasn't she just Damon Dash's ex-wife? What's her name?
Well,
they said
other people said it was
Rachel?
between her and what's her name, Rita Ora, who.
Yeah, I think it was Rita Ora. I don't think it was Damon Dash's wife. I know what you're talking about.
Rachel Roy.
She's a designer.
No, it was Rachel. It was
Yeah.
Rachel because she was talking about back in the day. It was Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel's Becky with the good hair. Yeah.
Rachel Roy.
Yes, that's Becky with the good hair.
That's Damon Dive's ex-wife or wife?
Ex-wife.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me though if Rita Ora tries to get with, because she cheated on Calvin Harris and she fucked up that relationship.
Messed up.
Do you want to know something weird though? I didn't know this about Jay-Z because I was always like, I remember I would ride the train into the city and we'd pass by Marcy. I'd be like, that's where Jay-Z's from. You know what I mean? And but then I found out that he actually in his early 20s moved to Maryland, and I'm from Maryland. And I'm like, wait, what? And he spent a lot of his time on the Eastern Shore. And that's why a lot of his illegitimate children, like 2 of them that we know of, are from Maryland. And apparently he used to sell, like, be a funny cigarette, if you know what I mean, like the devil's lettuce dealer in the Eastern Shore. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what if, because there's a tradition in Maryland that when you graduate high school, you spend a week, your whole class goes to Ocean City, Maryland, right? What if he delivered?
It could have been you.
It could have been me.
It could have been you. You missed it. Could have been Jay and Natasha.
No, not us together, but I'm saying he could have casually delivered my friends. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Hey, Shoshana.
Hey, Candy girl, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you? Sound off, sweetheart.
I'm happy that I'm on now. I was listening to you guys. Wow.
Yeah.
I love your energy.
Oh,
You
thank
like
you.
instantly made me like happy, and I'm like, go on.
Yes.
Oh wow. I was just listening to you guys about the whole Jay-Z and Beyonce thing. I didn't even know they was having problems.
Word on the street is they've been separated for a while. It's been sort of like a PR marriage, you know, that $1 billion brand. But now that allegedly Diddy is going to snitch on Jay because he doesn't go down on his own.
I knew he was going to do that.
To save herself. And so she's like, I'm going to divorce him and separate from him so that I don't go down with the ship.
I knew
Allegedly.
he was gonna do that.
I heard he made her.
I knew Diddy was gonna start talking. And you know, one thing I don't like about these guys, not to say that anything that goes on with the essay and everything is correct, but
Right.
I'm saying this. If you are saying you are from the streets and you from the hood and you know you about that life, if you about that life, you know stitches don't talk. Snitches don't talk.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to speak because they silenced. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you already knew what everything that was going on in the situation that went down, all you had to do was just keep your mouth shut, pay everybody you had to pay, and keep it pushing.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the tip top. I don't know if there's late payments. I don't know if it's a change of the guard. I don't know if they have like a young crop that they want to like usher back, that they want to usher in.
It's all of that.
Take these people out. But the people at the top, I mean, the people who control the Jay-Z, who control the Diddy, who control the Beyonce, they're shaking stuff up, because I truly believe it's not like, oh, the light is shining on the darkness.
I don't think so either.
I truly believe the dark is clearing out the dark to bring
Me
in
too.
new dark.
I think the devil's coming to collect.
You know, that's what I think it is. Because if it was the light, then like, why did they even make it this far? Why is it decades and decades of all of this
Exactly.
stuff?
We live in a fallen world, and I think
they're-
this is, yeah.
To me, it seems like they're cleaning out an old generation.
Yep.
Wow.
And that should
coming
teach
out, man.
all these people that sell their soul and want to do bad for material things. Your time will always come. They don't care about you either.
Wow.
Did you guys see that clip with Suki Hana?
Yes.
Where she was talking, like she literally
Who's
was like,
that?
I sold my soul
I'm
to the
sorry.
devil.
I'm sorry, Candy. Who's Suki Hana? I'm sorry.
So Suki Hana, she's a reality star. She was on, I want to say, Love and Hip Hop Miami, and she goes by Suki Hana. She's very much like she's like hip hop, very
She like
sexual.
Nicki Minaj?
She's like,
oh.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't even know how
No.
to describe her. I don't know how to describe her. But she, her name is Suki Hana. She goes by Suki. She's on Love and Marriage Hip Hop, Love and Hip Hop Miami. And there's a clip of her, and she's talking about how she sold her soul to the devil to get fame and fortune, and how she regrets it. And she was saying, she's like, I don't even belong to myself anymore. She goes, I pray and pray and pray, trying to get it back. And she was like, I just want to end all this, and I just want to go back to school. Like, it was really scary. And like, she said she didn't really understand what she was doing when she signed the contract. Like, it was spooky.
I
and
could
she was
believe
just
that.
Talking.
I 100% believe it.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it was about the money. She wanted the money.
It was about the
right?
money. It was about
Yeah.
the money. And she said, I no longer belong to myself. She's like, I keep praying and praying to I don't know if I can get it back, and all this stuff. It was scary.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miss T says
Wow.
her rap songs, like, yeah. Like, I don't listen to her music or anything, and I'm trying to be better at what I consume. But I
Same.
watch all Love and Hip Hop Miami. And so I knew who she was.
I watched
Like, with
Love and
that being
Hip Hop.
said-
I just never watched Miami. I've watched Love and Hip Hop. I've
Yeah.
watched Atlanta.
I watched
and
Atlanta,
I've watched,
New York.
I used to watch New York City.
New York. and
I used
watched
to watch the old
Miami.
school
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like, it's
wow.
really scary when you hear them. And also Katy Perry said it too. There's a clip where she said she sold her soul to the devil.
Oh yeah, she did say that because
She used to
I'm
be
I'm
a
believer.
Christian singer.
You know, I'm
Yep.
a believer.
Yeah.
I just came back from church, so I'm gonna pray for Suki Hana. But
Yeah,
I
pray
didn't
for
know
her.
that. I didn't know that. This whole thing with I'm sorry, getting back to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Jay-Z and Beyonce would ever split, because I always assume, that's me making an assumption, I assume that Jay-Z and Beyonce they were tied in also marriage-wise, because they didn't have a prenup in place. And I assume that the reason why, I always assume that the reason why Beyonce would never walk away from Jay-Z was because he holds the bag. I always felt like that. Like, he always controlled her. He hold the bag. She was like another Aaliyah prop for him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she's like Aaliyah. I'm gonna tame her, I'm gonna make her, I'm gonna mold her, I'm gonna shape her, and she's never gonna leave. I'm gonna tie her down. And I always assumed that. I
And
never thought
clearly
Beyonce
she
would
seems
walk away.
visibly like sedated on some
I
level,
think they have a
allegedly. Like she
Oh, they do
doesn't
have a
seem
prenup. Oh,
like
I didn't know that.
she's
Yeah, they have. I saw her like on YouTube.
very
Oh, sorry,
coherent a
Natasha.
lot when you see her in public. She speaks very minimally. She's kind of like, especially that one video of her at that basketball game with that bob. And
Oh yeah, I remember
yeah,
that. I remember that. I remember
swaying
that.
and like it's like
Someone actually
it's like
told me they actually met Beyonce in person at one of the football games, and they said that when they went up to her, they said she seemed like she was incoherent, like she was drugged up. She wasn't making any sense. So they said that Jay-Z kept stepping in, and he was just like, "How you doing? I'm Sean," or whatever. He kept on talking. You know, he was doing most of the talking. More, he had more of the energy. You know,
he was trying to like compensate and like distract from
and
that.
she was a little. He said that she was like a little like out of it. Like she just was saying things that just didn't make sense. Of course they were in a box, so it wasn't like she couldn't just like excuse herself, or he couldn't excuse her. So he basically was just, you know, amping up the crowd, talking to everybody. He was basically like the cheerleader, he said, of their, you know, marriage. Like, I guess, like
a
I know
spokesperson.
I understand that there are people who are quiet. Like my fiance is quiet. He's very shy. I'm the one who's more vocal for him, and I get it. But he said she seemed like she was on something. I can't imagine Beyonce being on drugs, but
I don't think that she's like does it like for party reasons. I think it's kind of like a Britney sedation kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think that it's used more as a controlling mechanism for her. I don't think it's something that she's like doing it because she actively has an addiction like her independently, you know?
okay.
If that's the case.
That's what because I was like, I was thinking to myself, like, Beyonce on drugs? Like, really?
Yeah, because like, I can't picture her like just like being that level of partier because she's such a like a hard worker, or always came across that way.
Yeah.
That like and she's like very, very into her career. So that seems weird that she would jeopardize that. However, like you can't deny what you see and like what you hear from other people's experiences engaging with her. Like there's a consistency to it. And like it kind of goes along with the rumors that she is in fact being allegedly controlled in that manner. So, but that doesn't negate for like the stuff that she does, you know. Victims can also be, you know.
And I have a question to ask all of you. And you could tell me if I'm off a little bit. Do you think this is just me? Do you think that their daughter Blue Ivy and Jay-Z seems like it? Do you think that he manipulated the situation where he has his daughter monitoring his wife while they on tour, and that's why he got his daughter on that show with the mother, going to all her tours and all her shows to watch the mother?
No, I think the reason why Blue Ivy's on tour is I think Beyonce wants her there. I think that's more of like the mother-daughter. I think that's her like cultivating her daughter. I think she's really proud to have her. I think Jay-Z already has security and everybody and teams of people in place to monitor Beyonce. But I kind of agree with what Baka says. She says sometimes Beyonce looks like she gets Jay-Z together, though when she's on stage. I think it's one of those situations where in the beginning of the relationship, he was the one with the power, but I think it's clearly transitioned to now she is the one with the power. That's why he was so shook on that Grammy stage, freaking looking like Kanye West having a mental breakdown, because now she is the one who's in a position of power. Because right now, Beyonce is a bigger power play than Jay-Z is.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I wasn't.
Hello. You talk about the Bayhive, like sure, Jay-Z is sort of this like icon person, but Beyonce is Beyonce. And I think that the power dynamic and who holds the money and the power has shifted. And that's why she's the one who's going to be saved. And he's the one that's going to go down with Diddy.
Well, there's this thing. I think Blue Ivy was always intended to be something like she was going to be groomed to be, because that's why the others are not in the forefront, but she is, because there is this lady, I believe she's in New York, that has a store called Blue Ivy. And they've been in, like, I don't know if they've ever settled it, but they've been in litigation for years over that name. because Beyonce wanted to make it a brand, and she had trademarked that name already. And so it was because ever since she was like literally a toddler, they have been in litigation over that name.
Yeah,
So it was
because all
always in
these-
the works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just like general like nepotism, nepo baby, where
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
stars' children are always groomed to be famous, and then the like, you know, that's standard. I think Blue Ivy being on stage, I think that's more Beyonce wanting her daughter to shine than him wanting. I don't think he needs his daughter to keep tabs on her.
Yeah, I don't think his daughter's her handler. That'd be very strange.
Security.
that would
of
be
people.
weird. I mean, but
Although
but in-
calling his wife this young lady, can we talk about? I was genuinely
Candy,
confused.
when you said that, it's like, you know, if you don't know someone, fair play, but your wife, not even a friend, your
But the
wife.
thing is, that is so odd to even describe your wife that way, that I genuinely didn't know who he was even talking about. I thought for a second that he could be referring to Taylor, because he's like, this young lady. I don't want to be rude to this young lady. I'm like, oh, he's talking to Taylor. And then everyone's like, no, that's Beyonce. I'm like, what?
But he was
Because
on
it's so
something.
bizarre.
He was on something because just the whole ambience,
was
as
drunk.
Candy said, is some low budget Kanye vibe.
There was some nervous energy for sure.
I think he's
that you
scared
never
he's gonna
seen.
he's scared he's gonna be next. He's scared that like I said before, in the beginning of the relationship, like back in the day when she was like 18, 19, 20. Hell yeah, Jay-Z was the power play there. He was the star maker. He had all the power. But in 2024, Beyonce is the one. She is the one pulling all, like, she's the one. And I think that what we saw was a man facing his own mortality in the sense of like, oh, wait a minute, Jay-Z, guess what? You thought you were a god, but you're not.
One of the girls that I'm friends with, her brother lives in the building that Foxy Brown owns, right? So one day she said that Foxy.
Where's that at?
It's in Bed-Stuy. It's on Lafayette, and I believe is that Franklin? I believe it's Franklin Avenue in Bed-Stuy.
Was that off the J train?
That is actually off the A and the C.
The A. Yeah.
And she actually owns one of the properties there. Her brother lives in the building. And she came in there. I guess she was high one night or whatever like that. She was partying. And the girl, the roommate was babysitting one of her kids. And or the niece or nephew, one of them. And she said that Foxy said that one day she's gonna take him down. Now, I don't know if that's true, that because what she's telling me and word on the street is that Jay-Z did some, I don't want to say it in the name of God, but he did some things to Foxy while she was underage. And she's been trying to get her story out. I hope that that's not true. I hope that it's a nasty, ugly rumor, because I really don't want to believe somebody like Jay-Z, who can get a lot of women, would actually do that to a young girl like that.
Well, there's this. I remember seeing it, and I
hope it's not true.
I don't remember when
It's kind of
it came out,
though. Like a lot of, powerful men. It's like, unfortunately, it's like textbook what they do to young men and young women.
I mean, he was friends with R. Kelly.
Actually, let me correct myself: young girls and young boys, because they're not women and they're not.
You're right. No, you're right. I gotta remember that too.
Yeah, let me correct.
The boys are not. Yeah, they're just a victim too.
Because that's a part of it too, with like the narrative. They'll be like, oh, with certain people it's young girls, and then with other people it's a woman, and it's like, no, she's a child.
Wait, you guys, I don't know whether this was when the Jetstein of the, you know what I mean?
Me too. Wait, wait 1 second, Natasha. Hold that thought, because Chocolate Chunk says he said he didn't want to embarrass this young lady. I think he was talking about his daughter. Let's watch it again, and everybody watch with hawk eyes, because I thought he pointed to Beyonce when he said embarrass this young lady. So let's watch and see if he's referring to Blue Ivy.
Let's put on our investigative.
Put on your candy cane critical thinking caps. Okay,
right, I'm a cane today.
You are a cane today. We're gonna watch.
I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right. At least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't got to clap at everything. Obviously obviously it's subjective because, you know, it's music and it's opinion based. But, you know, some things, you know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work. Just in life, you got to keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Forget the Grammys. You got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you feel you deserve. Until they call you chairman. Until they call you a genius. Until they call you the greatest of all time. You feel me?
I'm pretty sure he was talking about Beyonce.
Well, he said immediately he was
and then
like,
he said
she won this amount of Grammys.
But she won, yeah.
Little Blue didn't win any Grammys.
But shout out to
But I think Chocolate Chunk. I thought Chocolate Chunk.
Shout out to Chocolate Chunks. That was a really good question, and that was a really fun thing. So shout out to Chocolate Chunks.
Thank you,
See,
Chocolate Chunk.
I thought she was saying it like I was saying it, how I thought he was talking about Taylor at first, because it was just so weird that it couldn't have been about Beyonce. So we were just like confused. I don't know. She was like genuinely thought it was. I don't know. But it was bizarre and easy to be like, yeah.
What's all this I'm hearing about Beyonce? I'm sorry. What's this I'm hearing about Beyonce going into country?
Yeah, I think that's a PR pivot. I think it's like, look at Beyonce in country.
It's giving grift.
Don't look at her potentially having participated in all of these, you know, situations with her husband and everybody else. Like, let's not think about was Beyonce at these freak offs, but let's think about Beyonce, you know, doing, you know, hey on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, you guys.
Right.
So
Portia Man is a fraud. We knew Portia Man was a fraud.
You guys.
Shout out to Mademoiselle. Breaking news. Portia Man's a fraud.
That's no breaking news. I'm done. But you guys, okay, so
wait 1 second. Adam, did you have something to say?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know when. God, I hate how like my memory works like this. I like suck at this, but I want to say it was around when the Jepstein of it all was going down, and there was a lawsuit that was released, and I saw the paperwork, and it had about 28 names on it for some reason, and I don't know why. Like all of them were on it, including Kanye, the designer of remember the guy who passed away that was like the lead designer of Louis Vuitton, Virgil. All of them, they were all on it, right? Including Harvey. And then I read some of the transcripts. I think it was a victim suing that. Okay, I'm going to try to say this in a way that's okay. I'm going to think about my words here. Okay. So this person claimed to have been a victim of choo-choo train of it all, you know? And I want to say this is the reason for it. And I was reading the transcripts, and she had claimed that when she was young as like 5 years old, this is so disturbing, that Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein had purchased.
Oh my God.
And it was at a party, and she was just recalling things, and it was very, very, very disturbing. And I've also never forgot about that, because I think there's something, I don't know. I feel like kind of like what you were describing, like someone didn't pay up. I think that's what happened to Harvey, because I feel like he was some kind of gatekeeper. I think there's like a set of gatekeepers, right? That like the overlords kind of go, okay, you've done enough evil, you get to be a gatekeeper, right? And I feel like they have their bosses, and if they don't pay up, or if they get greedy, or they try to like step out, then okay, then we'll turn your stuff in.
I don't even think it's about paying. This just occurred to me, because it's never really about money. Money just equals power, control, and influence. So that's really what it's about, because it's never about the money, because these people have oodles of money. So I actually think it's more of like, maybe there's some sort of like energetic or cosmic just deal where it's like they get away with it, but then there has to be some sort of reckoning at some time. I think it's more about that. I don't think it's so much like the powers that be need
I've heard
Harvey
both.
Weinstein's money.
I think it's both, to be honest.
But I don't think it's money, though. I think it's more like when they try to do things, when they try and go against what they say.
I think there's definitely an exchange of money, like they have to do that as well. But I feel like you're right as far as energetically, because we're dealing with like what these people believe in. There's this like cool verse that I always the one, I think I've said it before, when it's like, know the schemes of the devil so you to not be outwitted, you know? So that's what I tell myself when I like deep dive, but like I obviously can't go too far because it really does like kind of like darken your soul a little bit. You got to like take a breather. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. I know enough, you know? And I feel like, yeah, there's the dark arts, they are messing with energy. It's like kind of what the Freemasons believe in. It's kind of what they all believe in. And it's a manipulation of energy. I personally believe it probably stems from like kind of like that forbidden knowledge of that caused like the fall of man to begin with. You know, the devil was like, hey girl, I know you got everything out here, but wouldn't it be cool if you could do it yourself? How about have this bite of fruit from this knowledge, you know? I don't know. That's how I always thought of it.
You know, it's interesting that you said that, because one of the things I learned, I'm not getting religious or preachy, but one of the things I learned is man fell because of a woman. So I think it's a little bit truth to what you're saying.
Well,
somewhat just on that part. That's just that one part that you mentioned about a woman. Yeah,
I feel like that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, because
we'll just leave it at that.
I don't want to. That's why I said I don't want to deter from that. I just wanted to
feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's knowledge and manipulation. It's basically playing God, you know.
Yeah.
And these people love to play God, and
right. What I mean by it's not about money is that these people sell their souls and they
rituals and whatnot. I don't know. I feel weird talking.
Yeah.
I don't. Sorry, I don't. I didn't understand what you were talking.
Hello.
Can
you hear
the
me?
last person, she said, God. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand. Can you repeat, please?
Oh my God, I feel like that was like, okay, I kind of want to stop talking about it because I feel like
what?
I feel like I kind of don't want to talk about it, get too much into all that anymore, because I feel like, you know, the powers that be, it's not a good.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that on your channel either. So let's reel it in. Let's just talk about.
Just say something?
How about Mo and Kyle?
Oh, can I just say like the last thing about?
Jay, you can talk.
I think it's very like problematic that the Grammys they have this award for Dr. Dre of all the, you know, the alleged physical and, you know, beating women. I think the Grammys supporting that and giving like an award for Dr. Dre, I think it's really toxic, and it tells a lot of for the Grammys. I think all of the Hollywood people, the Grammys, Oscar, everything, they're all going to be exposed because it's all dark, it's all wicked.
Yeah.
I want to know something though on that. On one note, why didn't he give my girl Nicki Minaj a Grammy?
Nicki Minaj needs some help.
Yep.
What's going on? Nicki Minaj does not need to worry about a Grammy. Have you seen her? She was streaming, and she was, let me say, alleged. She seemed to be out of her mind. Like, we need to do
some
a
party
wellness.
favors.
I know you're not talking about Black Barbie, really?
Yes.
Oh no.
We need to do a wellness check. I'm not the biggest Nicki Minaj fan either way. Like, I don't rock with how who she chooses to be with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But given that stuff, so I think when you come into agreement with darkness will follow you. So if you choose to marry and protect and to defend someone who has done certain things, you are going into agreement with their darkness.
Yeah, that's why they say not to yoke with people like that.
And so if you go into agreement with that, now all of a sudden you are, Megan Thee Stallion is basically blasting you, tearing you down, and you're losing your mind on TikTok when you're supposed to be Black Barbie, the best, baddest, whatever. And now you are on some bath salts talking on the Instagram Live how the mighty have fallen. And I'm not saying that's what she was on or what she was doing. I'm being facetious, but Nikki a Grammy is the least of her worries. We need to do a wellness check because sis was looking sus.
Not all there.
Very sus.
Not all there.
Yeah.
But
I think she's
just Google it. You can either or look it up on TikTok. Everybody was posting it.
Where she upset like all the fans because all the fans wanted her to perform Starships and she like went ape on them. I was like, hell no. It's a stupid song. I'm not doing that, and just lost it. She was not all there on that day. But can we move to cut the Morgan lover and Mo?
Wait, hold on for 1 second. I never said I believed Kelly and that I was suspicious of J-Lo in the studio.
Oh, I thought you were. That's what you said.
I never talked about Kelly Rowland and J-Lo.
You didn't?
No.
Oh my God, you're right. I was listening to someone else.
Yeah, I was like,
oh my
what?
God, that's crazy. I literally, oh my God, I was listening to another podcast.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't say that.
Oh my God, you're so right.
I know.
That's hilarious. Oh my God, sorry,
Chocolate
Chocolate.
Chocolate was like, where was I? LOL.
I was like, I don't know. That's why I was like, duh.
Uh-uh.
No, like I was listening to someone before here and they were talking about it. And that's why I was like, J-Lo. That's why I knew all about it. And I was like, and the J-Lo and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wait, huh?
I only have headlines for that. I need to do a deeper dive into it before I can speak on it. But I will speak on it, Chocolate Chunks. I just have to do a deeper dive because the only thing I saw was something about Kelly walking off and then someone came to replace her, and then Bethany Frankel was calling her a diva.
Bethany Frankel needs to stop.
And then Bethany removed it, though.
Of course, Bethany did because she needs to pipe down.
Because she pulls the trigger real fast and pipes in, and then has to reel it in.
That's why she can't do Bravo anymore because she opened her mouth and stuck her foot in it. And with the whole Rachel podcast, Reality Reckoning, whatever happened to that?
Oh my God, when this other person we were all laughing because we were saying like, why is J-Lo even a thing anymore? Like, she's not good at acting. She literally can't sing.
She's another one who it's like, what did you sell to get to where you're at?
The plant of it all. Even Mariah is like, I don't know her.
Like, J-Lo used to date Diddy. That's a fact.
That's right. J-Lo did date Diddy. Yep.
Like we're like, why? But she's like coming out with a new album and a movie like Beyonce. We're like, you're not Beyonce, girl.
No, the
What's
movie
going on?
looked like horrible.
It's
watched
space. It's something space and it's ridiculous. It's like the dumbest thing in the whole world. It's like a space movie, but she has dance breaks.
Yeah, I like the part where she goes and she's singing in the rain. I'm like, what's that mean?
Who knows? And like, we need to start a petition to free Ben Affleck.
He's back to that meme where he's smoking cigarettes by like holding a Dunkin' Donuts again. Like,
yeah,
it's
like blink
it's
twice.
Giving that.
Blink twice, Ben. I don't know why he thought he had to go into agreement with that. He didn't need it.
I feel like he's like, I made a mistake.
Yes, he's like, can I be free?
Meanwhile, his ex-wife is like on infomercials making homemade ice cream, like living a peaceful life.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm making peppermint homemade and blah blah blah. We're like, okay, girl.
Yep, she got a new man and everything.
Meanwhile, glitter J-Lo is dragging around Ben like a sad puppy.
They look so miserable, and he
really looks like, I made a mistake.
I mean,
I made a mistake.
They bought a $60 million home
every
together,
time I see
which
him,
is crazy.
he looks like, I made a mistake.
Yeah, we're like,
Yep.
we know, Ben,
We know. It's just he's like, when is this contract up?
He like has a calendar with
He
like
has a
the X's on the
countdown.
days.
He has a countdown.
Oh man.
I mean, the house they bought together though is beautiful. It's a $60 million home. It's mad.
Yeah,
So-
that's why they buy the big houses. You get a wing, you get a wing, you get a wing.
Yeah, there's like
Everybody
8
gets a
houses
wing.
in there.
Um,
They literally never have to
but-
run into each other. There's like multiple kitchens.
But speaking about the other people who sleep in different rooms,
Yes.
what
Adam.
what do you think about Morgan, clickbait lover and Mo?
She's like, uno momento, let's get the slide.
I know.
Because I'm intrigued to hear what your take is, judging to the just in the not. I don't know if you noticed, but in the episode that just aired of Beverly Hills,
Okay.
she refused to go to his party for his Netflix show.
Kyle did?
I saw that, Adam.
And he said, "Do you
So
want to come
Kyle
to-"
refused to go?
Yes,
Okay.
because she said she said 7 to 11 is too much for me. It's past my bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So do you believe that the two of them actually are on this pause, that they're actually sleeping in separate rooms, or do you still think the whole thing is completely clickbait, fake as anything?
Okay. I think that Kyle and Mauricio truly did split and separate. Like did like a whole separation thing. I do. I don't think that Kyle and Morgan were ever romantic. I think the reason why we're seeing and then I'll get to the whole thing about her not going to the Netflix thing. I think the reason why we're now seeing an uptick of like photos with like Kyle and Morgan out and about is because the PR contract was over, which is why Morgan deleted all the photos. Kyle was like, I don't really know her like that on Jeff Lewis. But then there started to be backlash. People were like, wait a minute, are they fighting? What's going on? And I think that neither camp wanted negative backlash. You know, I think Morgan wants to go and be on tour with like Alanis Morissette and sell her merch and really do that. So she doesn't want backlash, because just as quickly as people love you, people hate you. And so I think they were trying to do damage control by like, no, we're not fighting. We're still cool. See, because they don't want any negative backlash for their projects. Where it comes to Kyle and Mauricio, I think Kyle was being tit for tat. Well, you didn't come to my Lorene, celebration of life. I'm not going to come to your Netflix party. I think that she's been on her get back with him. Oh, when you're done scheduling your golfing, let me know. I can't do that. I can't go to Portugal, over spring break. I can't do that. I'm too busy. She's on her get back. She's trying to give him a taste of her own medicine. You're too busy for me. Well, I'm too busy for you. That's what I think that was about.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Candy.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of their relationship status now.
Oh, Miss T says, "Speak up, Adam. We want to hear you, baby."
In terms of their relationship now,
mm-hmm.
I mean, the brand new thing that Kyle's been saying on all the radio and YouTube and Amazon Live is that she's mentioned on all these platforms. Oh, he's so focused on his business. I want that energy to me. Mm-hmm. I met him before he had any of this money. So, because we all know how them as a couple, when they made money, then that resulted in Kathy and Rick cutting them off for how many years?
Well, Kyle's first husband was very, very wealthy.
Wait. Adam, keep going.
And in terms of all these years, how she's kind of defended, because the whole Kathy and Rick fallout with Mo over the agency, that was brought up in very early seasons of Beverly Hills, because there was all these reunions where Kim said, I've hung out with Kathy, and Kyle was like, I wasn't there. And Andy Cohen and all the fans of the show would ask. So but she defended Mo for all these years, where he made money, but as a result, that she lost that relationship with her sister. Now he's making this money and expanding in all these offices. She's feeling neglected, so it's kind of, unfortunately, the tables have turned the wrong way.
Well, to that, I'll say this. It's very different when somebody that, like, and I'll talk about romantic relationships. It's different if my husband is screwing over my sister, not saying that you have like a very healthy relationship, that's one thing, but for my husband to screw me over is different. So it's like apples to oranges. Of course, she's going to stand by him when he's screwing over somebody else because that's her man. But when it comes to you screwing me over, then yeah, now I'm going to have a problem. Even in friendships, someone is dogging somebody else out, they're your friend, cool. But when they turn around and dog you out, all of a sudden it's going to be a problem. So I think it's different when it's him defrauding or whatever, stabbing in the back, whatever you want to call it, to Kathy and Rick, versus her feeling that he's turning his back on her. Those are two different things, right?
Yes.
But then when it comes to her now saying, oh, he's only focused on work, I want him to be focused on me. Well, yeah, she's only saying that because now, like I was saying before, it's actually not about money. They have enough money. He's not opening businesses because he wants money. He's opening businesses because he wants influence and he wants power and he wants validation as a powerful man. Recognition, because when you get to a certain level where of money income that you have, it's no longer about money. People at the top, they're not fighting over money. It may look like it to us little folks. They're not fighting over money. They're fighting over power. That's what they're truly fighting over, because Kyle and Mauricio have enough money for a couple of generations at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're not. It's not about money. And this also goes back to what I was talking about with Monique and her son: intangible versus tangible. Kyle wants the intangible from him. She wants his time. She wants to feel like she's a priority. She wants him to have her focus and attention, right? That's what she wants from him. Where he's going after the tangible. I want to have 100 new offices open by the end of the year. I'm opening 2 a month. We're doing this. We're going worldwide. And the question is, and for what though? You already have enough money for multiple generations. It's not about generational wealth at this point. You got it. It's
for
about
sure. I mean, the
power and influence. So that's why now Kyle has the luxury, because she's trying to act like a lot of women can relate to this, not feel like a priority. Yeah, the women whose husbands are living paycheck to paycheck, who are going out hustling.
AKA not you, Kyle.
You know what I'm saying? Who are living, you know what I'm saying? When the women are like, oh, Joe Schmo, I wish you could spend more time with me. And he's like, babe, I'm trying to keep the lights on. She's trying to equate her problems to everyday problems that don't exist. He's not out here hustling to keep the lights on at their $5-10 million mansion in Encino. He's hustling for his own ego.
12
for his own ego, right? Because not because he wants more money, but because he wants more clout. So her trying to equate it was laughable to me. There are women out here who are working 3 jobs to support their family, and their husband's working, and they are like, can we get a date night? Where, you know what I'm saying? Her being like, I don't want you to go to work, and I'm just a woman who stays home and shops. I'm like, isn't that the premise of the show you were on? Like, I was like so confused. I was like, what am I not watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I'm confused.
The women that are relating to this don't have several homes, and their husband be like almost a billionaire. Like, no,
they may not even own a home.
Exactly, they may not even own a home.
I mean, especially in this market. Hello.
That's why I was like, Kyle trying to be relatable. I was like, Kyle, like, just do one. Like, stop. Like, you just need to like jump off a cliff. Well, not in a mean way or a literal way. But you know what I mean.
To me because it's weird to me though, because constantly on
or at least abort ship.
she's constantly saying the words though, you know, it's been tough, especially as we've known each other and I've met him before he had money. She's always mentioning, though, the fact about money, which is odd to me because they, as you said, you know, with the, I think they said they have something like 5 homes, 6 homes.
Because again, it's not about money.
Money literally doesn't buy you happiness.
No, no, I don't mean it that way. Money does buy happiness. Trust me.
Oh,
you would be a lot the more like it does. But money doesn't equate to happiness. But money can buy happiness. Trust me.
I agree with that line.
What I mean by it's not about money is that even when she says, I was with him when he didn't have anything and we built this, she's not talking about physical money. She's talking about what money represents. It's actually a very emasculating, dismissive thing. Because basically what she is equating is when you had no money, you were nothing.
Yes.
And now that you have, and I helped make you into something. So she's equating the money with his self-worth and his value as a man. And those are two different things.
So you're saying she's crediting herself to his
success
and his
that's why she keeps reminding us
his power and masculinity.
He had nothing. I was with him when he was fired. This is what we built together, because she's equating his value as a man to how much money he had. And basically she's saying, when you weren't shit, I was with you. That is what she is saying.
I didn't like that.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about actual money. It's about what does the representation of money mean. That's why when he's
it's like
out
calling
here
someone broke
hustling,
can be emasculating.
That's why when he's out here hustling, even though he has $100 million in the bank, it's not about money. It's about what does this money equate to. And he's, as a lot of people, especially men, equate the more money I make, the more worthy I am as a man, the more valuable I am as a man, the more important I am, the more clout and influence and power I have. So it's not about, quote, the money. It's about what does this money mean?
Yeah, because once you get enough money,
identity as a person. That's how deep this is. It's about identity.
It's like he's not like,
and that is what they are ultimately clashing over. That's why when she says, I was with you when you had nothing, is very, very dismissive. Very, very dismissive, because he was still valuable then. He was still worthy then. It's like if you said to a woman, well, I was with you when you were 100 pounds overweight. I was with you when you didn't have anything. I was with you when you were blah, 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 blah. Because she's equating his value as a man to external circumstances.
Yeah.
You see, so the conversation they're actually having is much, much bigger than just money. It's really not even about money. And that's when we were talking about the dark people and, you know, people aren't paying. It's not about money. They were never paying with money. They were paying with trauma. They were paying with lives. They were paying with energy. They were playing on the spiritual level. Money is on the reality level, the physical plane. So it's not about people not paying with money. It's what are you giving up spiritually? That's
So
where the actual warfare is. It's a spiritual warfare.
You get what you get, what you put out.
Exactly. Exactly. You see, it's bigger. It's much bigger than that. This little money, that's the physical world. They're talking about what they're playing in the dark arts. That's the spiritual warfare. The Bible even says you're not battling with men. You're battling with entities and spirits. That's why I think it's more of like it's a reckoning that there's some type of contract in place. There's already
time to pay the piper.
There's already a higher agreement in place of the balancing of the energies, where it's like, yeah, you're gonna get it here in this life, but there's gonna come a time where you're gonna have to do a reckoning, and has nothing to do with money. Nothing to do with money. And then Vaca says, "Do you think Mo and Kyle will still get together again?" Yeah, I do. They need to stop playing in our faces.
Yeah, I think it's just. I think she's just bored, quite frankly. You know, maybe him not being there, she's not entertained. But this Morgan thing is, I mean, it's the same thing, but even arguably worse for me than seeing Ali.
Another thing you guys are missing. You guys are missing something very important that Kyle mentioned a few times.
What?
Husband's not touching her. He don't even know what's on her body. he's not even touching her. He's out there sleeping around with all these random chicks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she needed to bring out. She needed to bring that out.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm angry with you, because you sitting up there, you sleeping with all these girls. You need to be sleeping with me. You don't even know how my body look anymore. All the changes I made just to attract you.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't understand why nobody is talking about the elephant in the room. Just call it like it is. You're messing around with other chicks, or everyone knows when a man reaches a certain pinnacle in life and he starts making that money and honey, all that power comes with it. He starts seeing and feeling himself. Then all the other young girls be like, "How you doing? How you doing?"
Because you're 100% right. Because just like money on the physical realm, the sex is also on the physical realm, but it's not even about the sex. It's about the power and the influence and the energetic transaction that comes with the sex.
Okay.
That's really what it's about. Because people just are looking at the surface. It's so far deeper than that.
Yes.
So far deeper. Because you even think about people who commit like fraud and all of these things. You're like, you have all this money. Why do you keep scheming and scamming and frauding? Because it's about the energetic transaction. It's about the high that they get. It's about the addiction to it. It's not even about what it actually is about. Even SA is not about sex. It's about control and power and the energetic exchange through trauma. And that's really what these people are giving, these darker forces. That's why in all these dark arts and dark forces and a lot of Illuminati, there's always SA involved. There's always trauma involved, usually with young children. That is the actual transaction. That's actually what they are giving, whether it's from self or it's from these people that they're doing it to. That's really what's going on. It's really, really scary.
That is.
Do you think so we know how Kyle has more than just a work colleague relationship with a production company.
Yeah.
They're more than just colleagues, they're actual, they have a friendship. Do you think that this was intentionally done as the finale episode? Because to me I'm annoyed that we have to wait until the reunion for this to kind of be brought up, because the rest of the cast, I wanted to see the not that some people online are saying she's punishing her, but I wanted to see Kyle get questioned, because it's not just Sutton, even Erica said, it's good that Kyle gets questioned for once. And I feel that there must have been another episode or two, and then they just decided, let's just put this, let's favor our friend. Because if you look at the episode count, Beverly Hills typically has like 23, 24 episodes, whilst this season, they're far from that. This is going to be episode 17, the finale, and the reunion. So there's going to be three to four less episodes.
That means
they
removed some stuff. They removed stuff that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
That's not fair.
I'm bored with this season. I haven't even felt the urgency to even watch this last episode.
I mean, I'm burnt out. I'm over Bravo. Like the fact that they brought Portia back, like bye-bye.
Yeah.
Like, what shows? Oh, actually, I want to do a Southern Hospitality party. So catch up on Southern Hospitality.
I've been watching it. Don't worry.
Show on Bravo right now.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Should I watch that?
I can't stand Maddie.
It's a spin-off of Southern Charm.
Let me write
It's
that
basically
down.
like the Southern version of Vanderpump Rules. That is my show right now. That is my show. I'm gonna do a party.
I'm surprised, Candy. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it, but I always thought that you thought that was cheesy.
Wait,
I never watched it.
It's good. This season. Last season.
Last season was bad.
Okay, won't watch that. Yeah, I won't
watch
watch
that. Diva girl that like locked someone out of the party or something.
Yeah, her name's Maddie.
Maddie.
I can't stand her.
I just saw that online. I mean, if you had to, I mean, is the show actually interesting, or is it just drama?
I think it's interesting because I want to talk more about the friendship dynamics. And then what I also like about it is these people actually know each other and they're really friends. So it's not as fake and forced as a lot of the other shows are now.
Exactly.
They have a true history. These people
There's organic
truly know
friendships.
each other. So I want to break that down. And I don't want to bring everything back to race, but I also think a key component is these people on both Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality have been very violent, and there has been no statement from Bravo. So when the white boys fight, it's funny. And Andy Cohen kind of laughs it off and blames the victim. It's no big deal. But I'm pretty sure if on one of the black shows, one of the black women would have head-butted another woman, it would have been all over the world, all over the papers, a commentary on black violence and women and blah, 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 blah. And then like Maddie, she's this little white girl punching people and then sitting in the confessional talking about I fight. Everybody know I fight, and there's nothing.
That's just facts because we all know with.
She acts like she's in high school. It's like bad Stassi Schroeder.
We all know ever since the Potomac reunion, that was when it was made clear as the double standards. That was the biggest thing. I mean, but
if they didn't want us to be in on their prejudices and biases, I'm talking about Bravo, they should have never made a big deal on season 5 Potomac, but because they did, now it is clear as day. Like, you opened the floodgates. That was your mistake.
Are fighting like they were fighting in the bar. He pushed him off. They pushed each other, and then he got headbutted. No statement from Bravo. Nothing. No consequence whatsoever. And then Maddie's like fighting, swinging on people, talking about I fight. Nothing. No commentary. Anything.
She didn't get suspended.
Is it like Southern Charm? It's a spinoff of Southern Charm from Leva, but it's like Vanderpump Rules.
It's Southern Charm meets Vanderpump Rules. Yeah.
All right, you guys, I've been on for 3 hours. I'm hungry. So let's everybody say our final remarks. We'll start with Jay, then Adam, then Shoshana, then Natasha.
Oh, I don't know.
I know, right? I hear you.
But it was a great discussion. Thanks, Candy, and all the people.
Panel. Yes, I agree. Go, Adam.
I liked hearing your opinions when it came to Beyonce, Jay-Z. I thought that was very interesting. We had quite a good discussion. With Kyle, with Morgan Clickbait Lover, and Mo, I don't know. We'll have to see how this season wraps up. But maybe next time you go live, we could play a game of FMK.
Okay. I'm going live. For everybody, I finally got my schedule together, and I will be going live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, every Monday for sure. And then when I can, I'll go live throughout the week. But Mondays, 1 p.m. West Coast, 4 p.m. East Coast for sure. Because I got my schedule together.
Adam, you're obsessed with that.
And yes, we can play that game.
It was banter as anything. I mean, Candy was priceless. Her Tom Hiddleston tipsy voice that came out. I can't.
I mean, that wasn't FKM or whatever. That was just her professing.
I know, but like
I'm dying.
That's my like Candy After Dark voice.
Right?
They're definitely yeah. So you're gonna go live tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be live tomorrow.
Perfect.
Shoshana?
Okay, Shoshana.
Yes. I just wanted to say I love coming on here. I'm a true candy cane. I love you guys. Adam. You guys are great. I wanted to also say that next time, hopefully, you can talk a little bit about not just the Monique situation, but also what's going on the Married to Medicine with this whole quad and the whole Phaedra thing. You know,
Okay.
that would be great.
Got it. Okay. I'll catch up on that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right, you guys. If you have any requests, be sure to DM me or email me and let me know, because this episode was all viewer requests except for Kyle. That was me watching and I had my aha moment. Monique was requested by Tion and Beyonce was requested by Chocolate Chunks. So if you have any requests, DM me or email me. Everything's linked down below and I will cover them on Monday.
Candy, are you watching Traders?
Yes. Want me to do Traders too?
Yeah, you should do Traders and Southern Hospitality. I'm obsessed with
Yes.
like Phaedra on that show.
I think that's where she shines.
She's absolutely shining, thriving, all of the above.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell she's well liked. She's in her skill set.
Yep.
Like when she told Dan the business, like,
She
oh,
brought
you've
him
got
for
the wrong one,
Philza.
honey, today.
I'm waiting for that moment where they keep teasing where she's like, this is in The Bachelor, and I don't have to kiss your ass for a rose.
I've been looking
I'm
forward
like,
to that.
where can that come? Maybe
That
next episode.
soundbite. I know. I want that to come up now. I've been looking for
I want
it.
her to win.
I think she's talking to Peter, obviously, because Peter's out of
she's
control.
talking to Peter because Peter's a hot little F-boy mess. He is, right? Total F-boy. I'm like, yeah, you're a guy who'd like hit on me at the club, but I'd be like, no, thank you, sir. But your friend's hot.
He thought he like did this like one, like he thinks he's like literally like the mastermind of all masterminds because he did one thing.
Apollo could get this. He looked good.
Yes.
He looked good.
But I feel like Apollo before, not Apollo now.
The one before, yes.
Before, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
early Apollo.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm super into that. I've been watching Southern Charm too. Yeah, I feel like I've said a lot. I'm kind of tired and hungry too. I feel like I lose momentum when I start getting hungry. I'm like the Snickers commercial. I either get really tired or angry.
I would have cooked you guys Sunday meal. I always cook after church.
Yes.
Oh,
I would have cooked you a Sunday meal.
Yum. I know. I gotta cook for myself. But yeah, I'm like
heat something up.
I know. I'm like dying. I gotta go. But thank you so much. This was fun. I missed
You're
y'all.
welcome. Yay.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Shout out to my beautiful panelists. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Shoshana. Thank you so much, Natasha. You're my girl. You always hold me down, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Janet, Baka, Miss T. Thank you, Chocolate Chunks. Thank you. Who else has been in the chat box with us? Everybody. Thank you, okay. Thank you, everybody. Just everybody, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I love you guys. Baka says, are you also covering Rohop? I stopped watching Rohop, but I can get some cliff notes to do sort of like an overall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I have a quick question.
Yeah, go, Jay.
Are you going to recap the Real Housewives of Miami?
Miami, I can add that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Lisa
sir.
is a mess.
Lisa is a hot mess. And I actually have a hot take on what's going on with Lisa and Kiki. So yes, we'll go live. I'll do a hot take. Yay. Okay. I love you guys. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Be happy. Happy Sunday. And I love you. So be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And I finally got my schedule together. And every Monday, 1 o'clock West Coast, 4 o'clock East Coast, we will be going live for sure. And then throughout the week, I will go live as I can. But I'm going to dedicate Mondays for sure. So I love you guys. Like, subscribe, and share. I'll talk to you later. Mwah.